Hand injury lawyers. Now, hanging with Hester and Hanny with Jacob Hester and Charles Hanagriff. Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger. Alongside Jacob Hester, here's Charles Hanagriff.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Hangin' with Hester and Hanny, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. If you're listening along with us up in the Shreveport area on 1130 The Tiger, or you're watching with us on CST or on YouTube, Hangin' with Hester and Hanny page, 104.5 ESPN page. Welcome in on what is a beautiful looking weather-wise day in the capital city. Not much else is very beautiful. You know, Jacob, you and I didn't get a chance to talk on Saturday night after the game. I was going to bring you on.
Wasn't much to say.
Well, I was going to bring you on for a segment,
yeah.
And we were going to talk, and then the phones were just so jam packed. I just wanted to let the fans have their say.
Great job, by the way. I listened on the way down to the studio.
There's a deal that's this must be really tough post games to do. It's mostly about letting the fans vent. And on a day like that, there was plenty to vent about. There's not a whole lot that I can say different after a day and a half later to digest this. I did go back and watch some of the game. I'll be honest with you, there wasn't, in my opinion, wasn't a whole lot of reason to watch the whole thing again, which I usually do. And I look at this LSU football team right now, and there's not very much to like. There's not a lot to like from an effort standpoint. There's not a lot to like from a schematic standpoint. There's not a lot from an execution standpoint. I use this from time to time. Everybody that listens to the show knows Apollo 13 is one of my favorite movies of all time. And there's the line is, what do you got on a spaceship that's good? After the explosion, it's like, you can tell me all these things that are wrong. What do you got that's good? And right now, outside of a few individual performances, LSU's got almost nothing that's good. You got a few guys that are playing at a high level, but not very many. And I can't. I'm anxious to hear what you have to say in where the message is getting lost, because somewhere between the coaching staff, which yes has some different guys than it did last year, but a lot of those guys are still back. And some of the same players, and most of the players that are playing were at least on last year's team, even if they weren't, starters. And somewhere in there, everything has gone kaplooey.
Yeah.
And everybody's got a theory. But what I can tell you is, to boil it down as bare bones as I can, is right now those kids don't care. I mean, that's what I see. They don't care. They're laughing and hamming it up on the sideline, down 37 points. They're not listening to the coaches. If the coaches are giving them the proper instructions, and that's a pretty experienced staff over there, the message is not getting across. But more than I mean, we can sit here and talk about third downs, or we can talk about formations and quarterbacks and personnel and all that stuff. Right now, everybody that puts a gold hat on over there doesn't care. That's what I see.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say. I think it's fair to question where's the pride at. I think that is completely fair to question. When I turn on the tape, I typically by this point would have watched the game, 2 times? I usually tell you, I'm like on my third, and you're like, why would you do that to yourself? It's like, because I want to go back and I want to see exactly what went wrong. This was an easy one for me. This was, I'm going to watch it half a time and throw the remote somewhere else, because I don't really need to watch the entire thing. And it's everything. There's not one thing you can point at and say, okay, well, it's this, or maybe it's that. No, it's a combination of literally everything. Okay, so the turnovers on offense, right? Well, you can't have that. Freshman mistakes. TJ Finley's holding the ball up. He's 6'6". In high school, he could do that every time and probably still get a throw off. Okay, you can't do that in the SEC. They're going the other way. And you throw an interception. It's basically a pick six, because this defense isn't good enough to deal with sudden change. So that part of the offensive line just got mauled. Outside of Ed Ingram, everybody got mauled. They were overmatched. We talked about the rushing attack being almost dead last in the SEC, yards before contact, and we thought, okay, it's South Carolina game. Maybe something changed. Well, turns out they ran the ball 27 times for 32 yards. Nothing had changed. And we know they've got good backs. We know these are very capable backs. We've seen it last year. We've seen it this year with the same guys, okay? So you're not getting the push up front. And you weren't able to get your freshman quarterback comfortable because you couldn't run the football. And then obviously, again, going back to it, he's going to have those mistakes. And then defensively, how long do we have? Because we could sit here and we could talk about scheme, which there is some scheme issues. We could talk about communication. There's still communication issues. We could also talk about just poor defense, bad technique. On the third quarter touchdown that Bo Nix had, where he pulls his own read and runs it in the corner for a touchdown, that was a bad read by Bo Nix. Nothing told him that he should have kept that football, because you had a player on the edge who had an angle to tackle Bo Nix. Not only does Bo Nix get around him, but it was pretty easy, right? Because, okay, if I'm the defender and the quarterback makes a bad read, one, I'm going to square the quarterback up because I'm a defensive guy. Instead, you go to his inside hip. The only place you can't go is his inside hip. You go to the inside hip, because even if you don't square him up and you go to the outside hip, you shoot the outside hip, you got buddies coming. Okay, but you do the one thing that you can't do, and then he gets into the end zone. It's things like that. The quarterback did the wrong thing. You're in position, and you do the one thing you can't do. And I'm not just picking on that one play, because we could turn on the tape, and there's multiple plays that we could say the same exact thing about. If you've got contain, that means contain. It doesn't mean I'm going to try to be cute and see if I can go inside this block and make a TFL. That's not what the defense calls for. So, yeah, there's issues across the board, but, man, you got some players making individual technique errors as well. So those combination of things, it's a you-know-what show.
So it begs the question, why? I mean, we can sit here and talk about the what all day, and we will, because that's our job. But the question is why. I can point to things when things have gone badly before, and I can say, you got a coaching problem, you got a talent problem, you've had an injury problem, whatever. I mean, the easiest thing to do would be to just sit here today and go, it's all Bo Pelini's fault. He's the one thing that's different. And look, Bo's done a poor job, okay? He's not getting his point across. He's not getting it communicated what he wants those kids to do, or if he's telling them, they're certainly not absorbing it and executing it. I know that Bo Pelini is not this bad a coach. I mean, I've seen him enough. Is he the second coming of Bill Parcells? No, but is he this bad? No, come on. So why? Okay. Why?
And two, real quick, because I want to make a point of what you're saying. I know Bo's a player's coach. That part of
you were in the locker room with him.
That part of it, I do know. If you do things the right way, he's a very much of a player's coach. Going to stick around, going to talk to you after, going to help you out if you need help. I've seen it, right? I've seen him stay after, stay late, even for offensive players. Like, I've seen it. I told you, he would come up to us on, hey, here's what they do on defense. If I was breaking down this guy here, he didn't have to do all that. So I know it's not, oh, this guy's just an a-hole, right?
Right.
So I know it's not that. So what is it? Because I've never seen a disconnect like this in the time that I've been watching LSU football. Now, I know you always go back to when you were in school. So for me,
right,
I've never seen it at this point.
Well, when I was in school, there wasn't enough talent on the team, and the coaching staff was discombobulated. I mean, that was easy enough to look at. This team has plenty of talent. Okay, do they have as much talent as last year's team? No, but they've got plenty enough talent to be better than what they are. And the head coach is the same. The coordinator is not, but the head coach is the same. So why is the message not getting across into more of an effort thing? And I'll just say it because this is being whispered around town, and I've had it asked to me 10 times. So I'll just ask it: was the disconnect on this team between these players and this coaching staff because of the march that didn't include the coach? So just ask the question, because if it is, then they need to get in a room and hash it out and figure out what their differences are and how they can go forward together for the betterment of all of them, okay? If there's a real disconnect over what happened in July, then get in a room and figure it out, because all it's doing is hurting all of them individually. Because every time I hear somebody say, well, they've quit on the coach, and they have. They've quit. I mean, that's what I saw the other day. So my rebuttal to that is, okay, if you don't like the coach or the coach did something to upset you or whatever, understand that every time you go out and you give this kind of effort and you put this kind of effort on tape, it's costing you money. Listen, I've been in the radio business for 35 years, and there have, on more than one occasion, there have been people that I had to work for and work with that I didn't like at all, okay? But I went to work every day because it was my job, and it was because it was how I supported myself and how I support my family. So there were days where I wanted to tell somebody where to go and how to get there that I didn't do, not in this building, okay? I mean, the last 20 years have been great. The 15 before that, not some, there were some rocky places in the road, believe me. I worked for a company that got sold 4 times in 6 years. Believe me, I didn't like all of them, okay? Yeah. But I did it. And so that's what I would ask to them. If you are upset with your coach over some issue, then go work it out, because all you're doing is hurting yourself and hurting them. Now, is that the reason? I don't know. I'm not in that locker room. I'm not in those guys' heads. I'm not in the coach's head. I'm not in the player's head. I don't know. But everybody's asked that question because that was the one thing that they didn't do as a group.
And when you start talking about somebody quitting and a team quitting, for me, it doesn't seem like I see quitting on the offense. I just see you getting beat.
Yeah.
When I watched the offensive side of football, and this was really the first game that they were that was done to them, because even in their losses, they had moments. Mm-hmm. This was really the first time they didn't have moments, right? This was the first time we didn't see Terrace Marshall in the end zone. Gilbert went away because they weren't able to get the ball to him. There was 3 plays that I charted that it looked like a screen pass because of how quickly all the Auburn defensive linemen got back there, and it wasn't a screen pass. I mean, that's how bad the offensive line struggled in this game. And I don't think it's that issue on offense. Now, defense, we can have a whole different conversation, because I see bad angles. I see guys that my buddy's got him, and they're jogging behind the play. He breaks a tackle, and then here goes 38 yards down the field. So completely agree there. But offensively, I think it's right now just being overmatched a little bit.
If there is if there's one place on this team where I would tell you have a talent deficiency, it is on the offensive line. You've got a transfer that you brought in to start. You have a younger player that you weren't counting on to be a starter that's in there. You've got 4 new players than you had a year ago on what was a very good offensive line. You got a big old trophy, an 800-pound trophy over there to prove it. So this thing is going south in a hurry. I don't know why. I don't know that there's any one reason why. I just know what I see, and what I see ain't pretty. Up to them to get it fixed. You got 2 weeks for this. Is there anything worse than to get beat this bad and have a bye? To have 2 weeks for this to linger, and on the other side of the bye is a team that's going to come in here with a very bad attitude about what happened last year, and there'll be certain comments, I'm sure, that will be on a loop.
But the coach Saban still played the cigar game in 2004. Right. It happened in '99.
And even if none of that were true, they're still light years better. So,
and I definitely throughout the day we're going to get to that, because I thought Barry Josbury on OTB mentioned something that we mentioned last week about the 3rd, the 4th, and the 5th round picks that LSU's lost that have put their names in the draft and gone early. Again, some of those guys are starting in the NFL, so this isn't a personal attack on that, but that's one of the big reasons. When you lose 3rd and 4th round picks that are juniors and the other school doesn't, it's a big difference. It just is.
Sure.
Right? If you lose 4 first-round picks, okay, well, that happens. Our 06 team had 4 first-round picks. We won a natty the next year.
Kerry Vincent should be on this team.
Right.
Okay.
Well, it's one of the guys. We could go down the list.
Well, that's just the most recent one. And he will be probably a middle-round pick. Okay, probably a 4th or 5th round pick, if I had to guess. He'll run very well at the combine, but he's not an elite player.
There's 3 players off the offense. And look, Lloyd Cushenberry is one of the best young men I've ever met. But a guy left early, was a 3rd round pick. Now he's starting for the Denver Broncos. But just to my point, if he comes back, maybe he's a 1st round pick. Who knows? Sadiq Charles, same thing, 4th round pick. Thaddeus Smalls, not drafted. That's 3 guys right there on the offensive side of the football, right? That you would like to be able to retain those guys. But for whatever reason, and this isn't just this coaching staff. I mean, this really been going on for a long time.
I think it gets into your culture that you're coming here for 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
And let me tell you something, that's been a very powerful recruiting tool, that you can come here for 3 years and be drafted and go make money playing this game. I mean, let's be honest, some of the guys that they've gotten here have been attracted by that. Now, you can do that anywhere if you're good enough, but this program's got a lot of light on it, okay? You can get to the NFL and make plenty of money coming out of Louisiana State as a football player. We got a lot to get to. They scheduled a press conference today. Ordinarily, we do not have press conferences in a bye week. That's got nothing to do with the results of the game. That's been just the procedure long as I can remember. And yesterday they called us and said, hey, we're having a press conference at 12:30, so we'll air it. Coming up here in about 10 minutes, we'll turn it over. Chris Blair's going to do an intro, and then they're going to have a press conference, so we'll see what he says. This is Hanging with Hester and Hanny, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hanging with Hester and Hanny. We opened up the playbook and expanded our coverage. Listen daily in high definition on 98.1 HD2. We are 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as a bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
T-Bob Hebert here with breaking news. Front to Back Boat Services is the shop to upgrade your boat tech this fall. With not one but two NMEA certified techs, who better to install your Panoptic sonar, your HD displays. You want to see the fish under the water before you even cast? They have that. Trolling motor you could control with your iPhone? They have that. So what are you waiting for? Get into Front to Back Boat Services right now. Upgrade your boat tech. Make your boating dreams come true. Front to Back Boat Services.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music. We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7, The Tiger.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for Monday's AFR presented by Relief Windows. We'll recap LSU and Auburn from the Plains. We'll hear from Ed Ogeron, and we'll talk Saints-Bears. Join us for Monday's AFR, 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin' with Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger.
Brought to you by Richards Honda, home of the warm and fuzzy feelings.
Also brought to you by the Tiger Athletic Foundation. I've been telling you over the last couple of weeks, as a former LSU student athlete, man, they do so many things to set us up to be successful on the field, of course, but in the classroom as well. We obviously know that this year is a crazy year, a lot of adversity, the loss because of COVID-19 for LSU athletics is going to be in the tens of millions of dollars. But as I also tell you, man, you got to keep going, right? That go never stops, and one way to do that is donate to the Victory Fund. That's going to provide financial support for the most critical areas of need, including scholarships, healthcare, and academic support for student athletes. You can learn more information, or you can donate on the website victory.lsutaf.org.
So we're waiting here. We're going to go to press conference in just a few minutes. What do you think he's going to say? Any ideas?
I have no idea, because normally there would not be a press conference the week of the bye week. So when we got that memo, I believe it was last night, I was a little bit surprised because, normally win, lose, draw, whatever, before the game, you don't ever get this during the bye week. So maybe this is one where, he watched the film and wants to get out there and wants to get out in front of some of the things. I don't know. We don't know what to expect really from Coach O coming up in a couple of minutes.
I can tell you that watching his Zoom press conference, I had the audio for the post game, but I didn't have the video. I hadn't seen the whole thing until yesterday. And he looked like a man in disbelief. Like, they talk about stages of grief, and at some point you're in denial, and then you're in anger, and for football coaches, usually anger is the first emotion when you get beat this bad. I mean, you're just mad as hell.
Yeah.
He looked like a guy that had gotten kind of blindsided. Like, man, I didn't see this coming. And I'll be honest with you, I didn't see it coming either. I thought that Saturday, two flawed football teams that are not at what they normally are from a level of talent and execution, personnel-wise, and it would be probably a flawed football game, and one of the teams would end up winning by 3 to 7 points. That's really what I thought. And I thought it could go either way. I didn't think that they would get blown out.
I didn't think they'd make Bo Nix look like a good quarterback.
I didn't think they'd blow South Carolina out either. I mean, I have been genuinely surprised in the results of the last 2 weeks.
But that may have been Bo Nix's – in fact, no, it was. Gus Malzahn said it this morning on our series show. It's the best game Bo Nix has ever played.
Sure, he threw for 300 yards. He
didn't make a mistake.
Didn't turn
ran
the ball
football
over.
incredibly well.
Sure.
And let's just call it like it is. Bo Nix isn't that quarterback that we just saw on Saturday. But the LSU defense is making him look like that right now.
Threw for 300 yards, threw 3 touchdown passes, ran for 81 yards, ran for a touchdown. Yeah, that's as good as he can do. I mean,
and Eli Stove's a guy that we talked about briefly last week of a possibility of maybe stepping up because he'd been injured, and he did it, and he did it in a big way. And Bo Nix found him multiple times.
Wasn't even like Seth Williams killed him.
No,
and the biggest catch he made of the day, he ended up fumbling on the backside. It was one of the few real hustle plays that LSU had there. Stingley makes a great play there and turns what would have been an ideal scoring opportunity for Auburn into a turnover on Auburn's best player.
Yeah, and Swartz, who was averaging 5 yards an attempt through the air his way, catches a 91-yard pass.
And don't get aggravated at Auburn for throwing 91-yard touchdown passes when they're at that point in the game because
cover the guy that's going deep.
Yeah, right. I mean, what's he supposed to do? He's out there looking like he just stepped in out of the stands somewhere. Ran out of the other tunnel and is like, hey, look at me. All right, we got a press conference, so we'll go to that. We'll come back on the other side.
The LSU Sports Radio Network. Welcome in to the Coach O press conference, brought to you by Coca-Cola, a beverage partner of the LSU Tigers. A recap of last week and a look ahead to the battle coming up. But first, to get us started, from the LSU Sports Radio Network studios, here is the voice of your Fighting Tigers, Chris Blair.
Good Monday afternoon. Welcome in, Tiger fans, as we head into the originally scheduled off week. Tigers will be back in action coming up November 14th at home. They'll take on the Alabama Crimson Tide. Kickoff just after 5 o'clock. Coming up today, special edition of the Coach O press conference presented by Coca-Cola. Again, going into the week, Coach O will be joining us in, about 3 or 4 minutes. And have an opening statement as always, and then, of course, taking questions from the media virtually today during the press conference, as we've seen all season long. Tough weekend on the Plains for the Fighting Tigers. They fall to Auburn 48-11. They now move their record on the season to 2-3. It was a game for about 18 minutes or so, first quarter and early into the second quarter. It was anybody's ball game. Both teams moving up and down the field, drive stalling very early on near midfield, and we were 0-0 at the end of the first quarter. Eventually, they were able to pick up some turnovers. Auburn picked up 3 turnovers offered up by LSU, 2 interceptions and a fumble. All 3 of those turnovers resulting in 21 of their 48 points. At the break, it was 28-3. And again, Auburn got very comfortable with that type of lead, being able to do what they wanted to do offensively, throw the short passes. Bo Nix led the Auburn team in rushing. He was able to run couple of throws down the field, not much. One late in that fourth quarter, Anthony Schwartz took a 91-yard pass on play action on the first play of that drive with about 14 and a half to go in the fourth quarter. And then after that, that was pretty much all she wrote. LSU able to get their lone touchdown to keep their touchdown streak going, at least one touchdown in a game, moving that to 8 after Keyshawn Butte, the freshman, took the 43-yard touchdown pass from freshman Max Johnson, both of those picking up their first touchdowns as LSU Fighting Tigers. We now will join head coach Ed Ogeron for this week's Coach O press conference presented by Coca-Cola.
Okay, we'll get started with Coach O's opening statement. Just a reminder to put in chat if you have any questions. Coach?
All right, guys, tell the truth Monday. We started with -2, and the turnover ratio was unusual for our team. We were +6 going into the game. Those turnovers turned into 21 points really fast. Our defense was playing the best it's played for a while, for a quarter. Obviously, we got to play for 60 minutes. I was really disappointed with the play of the offensive line. I thought we'd play a lot better. We only had 32 yards rushing. Gave up 4 sacks. And, a lot of that was one-on-one blocking, physicality. And I'm disappointed in that. The execution of the offense could have been a lot better. We could have called better plays. We didn't call our best game. We didn't do our best game as a staff, and just tell the truth about it. On defense, they had 206 yards rushing. We had 0 sacks. We got beat at the line of scrimmage. They came after us, and we didn't play well at the line of scrimmage. They had 300 yards passing, 9 explosive plays. We're giving up 33 points per game on defense. It's unacceptable. We got to get it fixed. We got to find a way to get it fixed. On special team, kickoff return, Trey Palmer is a positive right now for us. Our kickoff return team is doing really well. And Zach Van Rosenberg continues to punt the ball very well. Well, that's the stuff I'm going to tell the team today. That's what I'm telling you guys. This week is going to be about LSU and a little bit about Alabama. Starting on Alabama, we've got to fix us first. Today will be a Tell the Truth Monday. Tomorrow they have the whole day off. Wednesday will be a Tuesday practice on Alabama, and Thursday will be a Wednesday practice on Alabama, third down, and they'll have Friday and Saturday and Sunday off. Any questions?
Hey, Coach Joe, Garland Gill and Fox 8 New Orleans. Can you give me the development of this week with Miles Brennan? How are you going to try to speed him up, and what days is he going to practice this week?
We're going to throw the ball with him a little bit today. He's going to try to get into the offense, see what he can do. He's not ready yet. It's day by day, and I don't know if he's going to be ready for the Alabama game. I think we'll know a little bit more next week. We're going to try to let him do a couple things today, see how he can do it.
Brooks, we can't hear you. We'll go to Brody.
Hey, I mean, obviously, you've been turnarounds as interim at USC, you've been turnarounds at LSU. I guess is there just any kind of lessons you can take from some of those past experiences kind of in this season right now?
Yeah. In my mind, we building a championship program. We're going to be a championship team. We're going through some growing pains right now. I know it. We got some young players. We got some new coaches that have been on our staff for a short time, didn't have spring ball to put in their system. Not an excuse. This is the SEC, and the other coaches had the same amount of time. But I know this in my mind. We have a plan here. I know the people surrounding me are very supportive. We just had one of the best teams in college football last year. We're not that far away. We've got to get better coaches. We've got to get better players. And this is LSU, and we're going to do that.
Hey, Coach. Bree Andrews from LSU Tiger TV. So we saw that y'all relied a lot on the run game against South Carolina. It was very successful, but it wasn't really as successful against Auburn. So do you think, from here on out, are y'all going to rely more or less on the run game?
We have to. We had a meeting about it today. We have to have a different variety of runs. We have to use our running backs. Our offensive line has to block better. I mean, we're going to block one of the best fronts in football coming up, so we got to make some improvement in the run game. We got to do some different stuff to get the ball to our best players and take the pressure off our young quarterbacks.
Let me try this again. Ed, can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right. And kind of along with a couple of questions ago, I mean, I'm not sure how similar this one feels to the Mississippi State game a couple of years ago, but where do you go the days after to try to respond to a loss like that?
Yeah, you got to dig deep. You got to dig deep, man. It hurts. It hurts everybody, but I'm the leader. I'm going to be positive with our football players. I'm going to show them the film. We'll tell them where we could have coached better. We'll tell them where we got to execute better. We got to make better in-game adjustments. We just got to continue to grow. But I'm going to be positive, believe in our staff, just like I did after the Mississippi State game. We're going to make adjustments like we need to. We're going to look at our roster management and see where we need to get better at our roster and develop guys, ask guys to stay. We got an extra year with these guys. Some of these guys, I want them to stay, see if I can have them stay, have a mature team next year. And I know I'm building a championship team. There's no doubt in my mind.
Hey, Coach, you mentioned the 9 explosive plays that Auburn had. That's kind of been a trend all season. What do you think has been kind of the common denominator for why that's just continued to be a problem this season?
I think missed assignments, confusion, for sure, and then execution. Guys not doing their job. I mean, some of the plays that Auburn scored on us, we ran the same exact plays in practice with the same exact people. Some of the stuff was new, and the stuff that's new, we got to make better adjustments on. So it's a combination of everything, and yes, it's been a common factor in every game.
And going back to the quarterback situation, if Miles is healthy, obviously he's going to be your guy, but is it a competition? Is it a very spirited competition between the two freshmen? And is it any different now than it was before? I mean, has it been like a competition each week to see who's going to be the starter?
Yeah.
And is it the same as it was before this game or not?
No, it's different. We expected TJ to take another step, and obviously he didn't. He struggled. He's a freshman. I can't put that on him. And then, especially going on the road, it wasn't a hostile crowd, but it was different. And but if Miles can't practice, we're gonna see who's better, TJ or Max. Max went in there and did a fine job. So they're gonna compete. There's gonna be a competition. Hopefully Miles is ready. If not, I'm gonna have them compete and see who practices better. Then we'll see what happens. If TJ would have played well, obviously he'd have had it locked up, but he didn't. And Max went in there and did a good job. So, yeah, it's open competition.
Hey, Coach Ogeron, Garland again. Traditionally, the bye week is when you heat up a little more recruiting, maybe.
Yeah. You got silent there, Garland. Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, I got unmuted again.
No.
This past weekend, you had two significant commitments to the program. Obviously, can't talk to them by name. But what are you trying to focus on these last few spots? And are the kids worried at all that it's the product on the field doesn't look as good, or they don't worry about that because that's going to be next year when they come to LSU?
You know what? Those guys still remember that championship team. They still remember a lot of things. This is LSU. The guys that want to come here, see an opportunity to play, they watch it on tape and say, you know what, hey, I can go and help my team. They still love the Tigers. We've had relationships with these guys for 2 years, so I don't think this is going to affect it much. Now, it may affect a couple of guys. This week, we went over our roster management. I had a great meeting with my recruiting staff, went over specific needs that we need, whether it be in high school, whether it be in junior college or graduate transfers. We've been great on graduate transfers here. We're going to continue to look at them, and I do believe, Garland, one of our biggest things on roster management is now that we have the extra year, is keeping a lot of guys for maturity for next year. I miss going out on the road. I'd like to be going out on the road, but we only got like 5 spots left in recruiting, and we got a lot of guys that want to come. So I think we ranked 4th in the country. Obviously, we're very pleased what happened this weekend. It was a big battle. I got to give credit to Kevin Falk and Corey Raymond and Derek Panansky. Those guys did a tremendous job, and it's always going to be a fight to keep our best players in Louisiana.
Hey, Coach O, Jared Joseph, Fox 44. I know earlier in the season, before the first open day, you were talking about simplifying the defense and working on communication. And now, heading into this next one, what might be the avenue you help get the defense back on track?
About eye discipline, about gap fix. We simplified about as much as we can simplify, to be honest with you. And now it's either change a couple of things up to make it easier for our guys, play something different, or whatever we're going to play, we got to make sure we master it. And then, if you play the same defense, people are going to have a game plan against you. And you better be good, or you better have some adjustments. And that's the point where we're at. I think we need to make better adjustments for our players. And I think our players that, once they know what to do, they got to have great eye discipline and execute.
Hey, Coach, this is Shea Dixon with 24/7 Sports. What's your assessment been of maybe at times when y'all been down, the energy level of the team, the sidelines, and then how as a coaching staff do you kind of address it when you see things that you don't think by?
Yeah, it's something we got to fix. This is a young team, and look, it's 0-0 the first quarter. We got to fight for 60 minutes, and when adversity hits, we got to keep on fighting, and that's been a mark of our team since I've been here. We were down 20-0 against Auburn and came back and beat them. So it's a young team. I'm going to address it today about fighting throughout the game, about staying enthusiastic throughout the team and believing we have to do that. But you know what? There's a lot of young guys on this team that I have to teach that to. They don't know that yet.
Hey, Adam, I'm just curious. I guess how has Miles just kind of handled everything the last few weeks, and how has he been with those freshman quarterbacks?
He's been great, but, he wants to play. I mean, there's no question he's frustrated. He did everything he can do with Jack. He's doing all the studying. He's been around. Those guys love him. They like brothers. He's been fantastic.
Hey, Coach. This is Josh Sibley with Louisiana Ground Football. You talked on Saturday about evaluation of everybody, the staff and the coaching. Has there been any, and you previously said about having 2 coaches in the press box or in the box. Has there been any talk about possibly moving Coach Pelini up to that second seat and possibly moving Coach Shanahan down to the field?
Not really. I like Coach Shanahan up there in the box to be able to see everything. He calls the third down plays. He's up there. Both feels more comfortable on the field. So to be honest with you, there's been no discussion there, and I don't think it'll make a difference, to be honest with you.
Hey, Coach. Steve Moulton, WZZN. From what you saw on the tape, what are the biggest issues with your run-stopping capability on the defensive side, Coach?
Yeah, physicality. They ran in between the tackles. The gap fits. physicality. They ran a lot of counters, a lot of powers. There's some double teams. We were out of our gaps. We got knocked out of our gaps. We were arm tackling. We weren't tackling very well. A lot of yards after contact in between the tackles, and that's one of the things that we had to stop. We knew that going into the game. When they got on the perimeter, we made some mistakes. We gave them some big runs on the perimeter. We had some mental errors. So I think it was the biggest thing, Steve, was physicality. We got out physical.
Any other questions for Coach O?
Thank you. Go Tigers.
Got two more, Coach.
All right.
Sorry about that, Ed.
All right.
You talked about this week just needing to fix LSU, and we've talked about a lot of things that you've been wanting. What are going to be your biggest focuses this week as y'all head into the
Gap fits. Gap fits we play. I just watched Alabama's offensive line. It'll be the strongest at Najee, best run game we faced in a couple of years here. Run fits, physicality, playing blocks, being in the right place. I think that's the first thing we got to start on defense. Then eye discipline. Make sure that we give them all of those bunch splits and the crossing routes and all the things that have given us problems. We have to fix it. It's on tape. It's a copycat league. People are going to do it. On offense, we got to find different ways to run the football. And then we got to be more creative with the quarterbacks that we have, do the things that they can do.
And Ed, you've been a player and a coach. After losses, I'm wondering if this year's any different. With any restrictions and pandemics and such. Like, I don't know, players, coaches just need to get out, go, I don't know, blow off some steam. I don't know how. Just handling environment on the inside. Does that change anything at all?
Yeah, well, I go jog every day, so I enjoy my jog. I'm sure the players get out, and I think the open date tomorrow they have the day off. I think that Friday, Saturday, and Sunday will give everybody a time to reflect, maybe restart, press the restart button. And I know our guys by next Monday are going to be fired up to play Alabama, so I'm not worried about motivation. I think this team's going to stay together. I'm not worried about dissension at all. This coaching staff's together. I feel positive about what's going on.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you, guys.
Coach Ed Ogeron with the press conference today, going into the bye week before they get back to action on November 14th. Against Alabama here at Tiger Stadium. We'll take a quick break. We will come back and wrap it up. It's the Coach O press conference presented by Coca-Cola here on the LSU Sports Radio Network. Support your LSU Tigers with Hancock Whitney, the official bank of LSU Athletics. From game day to the offseason, Hancock Whitney LSU credit and debit cards are a big win for any Tiger fan. Want to get your paws on these cards? Well, apply online or visit HancockWhitney.com/LSU. Hancock Whitney Bank, member FDIC. All accounts subject to credit approval. Terms and conditions may apply.
If this year has taught us anything, it's we can all do more than we ever thought possible. That compassion can persevere through the greatest challenge, and that ingenuity and excellence can transform us forever. At Our Lady of the Lake, we see each person, never simply the patient, because health is a human experience. Our Lady of the Lake, the official healthcare provider of LSU Athletics.
Hey, Tiger fans, LSU wants to remind you to defend the spread by masking up. The best defense against the spread is in your face coverage. Remember to wear your mask in public. Here are some quick and easy steps to stay well. Always wash your hands with soap and water for at least 20 seconds. Avoid touching your face. Clean and disinfect objects or surfaces around you, and stay home if you are feeling sick. Thank you for doing your part. One team, one heartbeat. Go Tigers!
Can't just watch. Basically impossible, roundly implausible to enter the gates of the SEC and be a faint spectator, a fly on the wall, not at all. Excuse yourself to lose yourself in something bigger. The traditions, the superstitions, the fight song in every rendition. You can't just watch, not in the home of more.
back to wrap up today's Coach O press conference. Once again, here is Chris Blair.
All right, that'll do it here for this week's Coach O press conference presented by Coca-Cola. Going into the bye week, and the Tigers not in action this Saturday. Going back to Tiger Stadium coming up Saturday, November 14th, just after 5 o'clock. It's LSU and Alabama. That'll wrap things up for us here. Thanks for tuning in. Enjoy the rest of your week. Enjoy the off Saturday. And don't forget tomorrow's Election Day. Go vote and go Tigers.
Football's back. Tune in tonight as we wrap up a full weekend of NFL coverage. It's Monday Night Football as the New York Giants host the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The NFL lives on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
From the makers of Blue Moon comes Light Sky. An extraordinary citrus wheat brewed with real tangerine peel, only 95 calories. Welcome to the light side of the moon.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you, and God bless.
T-Bob Hebert here with breaking news. Front to Back Boat Services is the shop to upgrade your boat tech this fall. With not one but two NMEA certified techs, who better to install your Panoptic sonar, your HD displays. You want to see the fish under the water before you even cast? They have that. Trolling motor you could control with your iPhone? They have that. So what are you waiting for? Get into Front to Back Boat Services right now. Upgrade your boat tech. Make your boating dreams come true. Front to Back Boat Services.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to service.
Join us for a Monday edition of Jimmy Ott's Game Time, presented by VisitNatchez.org. We're live from the Pig Out Inn in Natchez, Mississippi to recap the weekend and look ahead to Monday Night Football. Tune in at 6 p.m. on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin' with Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger.
And we're back. me ask you a question, Jake. You've been in a lot of locker rooms over your time as a football player. Is there anything more insulting that a coach can tell you than that you weren't physical enough?
That's about it. That's
pretty much questioning your manhood, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you aren't physical enough is a very nice way of saying
soft.
Yeah. And if you're gonna say in a press conference where you don't want to use any foul language or anything like that, where you just say, well, we got beat because we weren't physical enough. If that doesn't jar your pride as a football player, then I think you're in the wrong sport.
There's nobody that can turn on that tape though and contradict what he said. Not one person, because if you did, you'd be a liar.
Notice nobody's saying, "Oh, well, he's throwing him under the bus." No, he's not. He's speaking the truth, and it's a failure on the coaching staff as well. There's. I'm trying to come up with a nice way to say that this is just a complete and utter failure on every level.
Yeah.
Coaches, players, I mean, there's not one thing that I can point to and say, well, that was okay. I mean, outside of a couple of individual plays by players, I can't.
Outside of, and I'm not, this isn't meant to be funny, but outside of special teams.
Yeah, York made a long field goal and Stingley, forced a turnover
I'm talking
in a key
overall
situation.
this year.
Yeah, I mean,
overall this year, that's been probably the brightest spot.
And you know what aggravates me more, or leads me to believe that this is so much worse, is every time I watch Mississippi State play. Every time I watch Mississippi State play, and not against Alabama, okay? Alabama's an elite team. I'm talking about when I watch Mississippi State play A&M or Kentucky, and they can't do anything. I mean, they can't put one foot in front of the other, and they came in here and they blew your doors off. I mean, they scored 44 points. I don't know how that happens. Okay,
right.
So the outlier is not State or Missouri. The outlier is South Carolina. What I'm trying to figure out now is where'd that come from? It's not where the other things are the norm.
Let's not forget that team beat Auburn the week before.
Yeah, this is why you can't do the transitive property of football, because those three teams have all beaten each other over the last 3 weeks.
Honestly, watching this game back, this team's just not set up for a sudden change. They're just not. When it gets off schedule right now, they don't have the ability to say, okay, let's put a halt to this and let's get back in this game.
Because at the end of the first quarter, it didn't look that bad.
No.
At the end of the first quarter, you're like, okay, well, this is going to be a typical LSU Auburn game.
I thought it was going to be 10-7.
I was going to say 20-17, but okay, yeah, sure. And then all of a sudden, the wheels fell off.
Yeah. All of a sudden, you don't take care of the football, and again, your defense has to go out there. And right now, they're not stopping people from scoring in the red zone or really any part of the field, right? So you can't get the momentum of, yeah, we had a turnover, but we held them to a field goal. All right, that's not the case right now. And when you get off schedule, all hell breaks loose. And that's the problem, right? Because you got to be able to adapt. You have to be able to, when things aren't going right, have someone say, we're putting a stop to this. Let's get back on track. And I don't see that person right now. We talked about it last week for almost 2 full segments. Who is that person? It's not there.
And at the fundamental core of every football team, and I know we live in a pass-happy, point-a-minute era of football. If you can't run the football, and they can't, and you can't stop the run, and they can't, then you're screwed. I mean, you really are. There ain't no way to get around that. I mean, I suppose if one element were missing. For instance, Seattle, okay? We want to use an NFL example, okay? Seattle's got a problem stopping, well, pretty much anybody. But they've got, one or two or three best quarterbacks on the planet, so they can kind of get away with it. And before Carson was out, they could actually run the football a little bit. But you can't get away with both. You can't have – if you have an inability to run the football and stop the run, then page 2 doesn't matter because that's got to be page 1. You've got to at least be able to do a little bit of that. And right now, I don't have a whole lot of faith that they can.
I don't know what's going to come out of this bye week.
Would you want to go watch that film? Would you want to go to practice this week? I mean, to deal with those corrections, where do you start?
It's almost like, do you hit reset? And there would be zero, I'm taking care of y'all this week. There'd just be none of that.
Yeah.
There would be, hey, get ready to not practice like a game week. No, get ready to practice like a camp week.
I saw you make a face when he said they're getting 4 days off.
Yeah. It shocked me.
You made a mean face.
I did. It shocked me.
You made a real ugly face when he said, yeah, they're going to be off tomorrow. They're going to be off Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Boy, you didn't
Where
like
you
that.
going?
You didn't like that at all.
Where are you going? It should be right back into the meeting room.
Back with hour number 2. Hang with Hester and Hanny, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin' with Hester and Hanny.
Making any property improvements this fall? You got some nice weather to get out and work in. If it involves you digging, then please call 811 first. I implore you. I mean, it's the law. I could stop right there. Or I could tell you how easy it is for them to come out and mark the location of all the buried lines on your property. Or I could tell you it's absolutely free. All of those are good reasons. But the biggest reason is you don't want to cause problems for yourself or for your neighbors. And if you hit a line that's buried very shallow beneath the surface, that's exactly what's going to happen. Whether it be a power line, whether it be a gas line, a water line, a communications line, don't be the guy that's responsible for knocking out your power, flooding your neighbor's yard, or any of another host of problems that could happen if you don't call 811.
You can call 811 or you can click Louisiana811.com. Multiple ways to get that done for you. It's incredibly easy for you. They come out, they do the work, they mark all of the lines, and you just sit back and watch. Know what's below. Call 811 before you dig.
Do you have or have you had COVID-19? Antibody screening or rapid molecular testing can tell you. Lake Urgent Care Lake After Hours offers both with results from molecular testing in minutes. Learn more at lakeurgentcare.com.
When you want the best of Louisiana, you don't go to a superstore. We know what we like, and we like it local. Same goes for banking. As one of Louisiana's largest local banks, we offer homegrown services crafted around you. Gulf Coast Bank, the bank that cares about you.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her Auctioner primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an Auctioner care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioner Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
What do Honda lovers look forward to this time of year? Aside from family, turkey, and pie,
Happy Honda Days at Richards Honda. It's that time of year when everything is at clearance prices. And since we're stocked up on inventory, you'll have plenty to choose from. Over 700 in stock at transparent prices. Happy Honda Days makes happy customers. Come see why people call Richards Honda the smart choice. I-12 at Millerville Road and richardshonda.com.
Callahan Injury Lawyers. Now, Hangin with Hester and Hanny with Jacob Hester and Charles Hanagriff. Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger. Alongside Jacob Hester, here's Charles Hanagriff.
Hour number 2, hanging with Hester and Hanny. Shea Dixon at the bottom of the hour will be with us from Go 247. Shea brings with him the good news from the weekend, the commitments that came LSU's way from Sadrine and from Jack Bash. Excuse me. A little brain freeze for a second there. So there was some good news over the weekend, not on the field but off the field. He'll be with us to talk about that here at the bottom of the hour. Kate Wozniak, our audio producer today, Paul O'Neill, our video producer, and along with Jacob Hester, I'm Charles Hanagriff. The LSU loss, I guess, gonna kind of just linger around here for 2 weeks. That part of it, when we were talking about in the first house, this is just the absolute, there's never a good time to get beat this bad, but there's just no time ever could be worse than to have 2 weeks to think about it and then know that on the other side of the 2 weeks, it's not exactly Vanderbilt that's looming out in the horizon. What do you think of, what you heard from Coach O? I mean, there wasn't really hard news there. There's, just kind of an update. But for me, the biggest thing that came out is just, we weren't physical enough. We got out physicaled. Yeah. Well, okay, you just called you guys out at that point. But I don't imagine it's the first time. I mean, he's been as candid as you can be. He came out after the first week and said, how many loafs did he grade that first week? Was it like 12 or whatever it was?
Double digits, yeah.
So he's called them soft. He's called them lazy. I mean, these are as insulting a terms to motivate your football team as you can get without just basically getting up in somebody's face and screaming right into their eyeballs. You've changed what you can change schematically. They've simplified, or at least they've said that they've simplified.
Look, so, after a while, Hanny, though, after all that, have some damn pride.
Yeah.
You play for Louisiana State University. You play for a school that wins national championship. They've won 3 since 2003. Okay, only one team that has more than that.
Happened about 10 months ago.
Okay,
feels like 10 years, but it happened 10 months ago.
You play for the state of Louisiana. You play for your family. You play for yourself. Like, Hanny, I don't understand it, because if the guy across from me is better than me, but I'm going like a bat out of hell, I'm just going to tip my cap and I'm going to keep trying. I'm going to keep coming at you, believe me. But if you beat me, okay, you were better on that day. But if I'm half-assing it and you're beating me, then it's a double whammy. Then I'm going to find somebody else that's going to full speed, because if you're losing and you're jogging, I'm just going to put a freshman in there. He might not know what in the hell's going on, but I know he's going to go 100%. Like, I don't know what else. I really don't. I don't know what else you can do, because we know the people in that building are motivators. Like, we can talk about scheme. Like, we can talk about that for 2 more hours.
It ain't the scheme.
We can talk about that.
It ain't the scheme.
But if you're not buying in, okay, what? Give me a reason. I don't know one, but give me a reason. But also just know that every time that you put that out there on tape, your bank account looks different.
Costing you money.
The next year.
Every single one of them.
Every time you put something out there, because there's people that are evaluating this tape saying, man, we had this grade on him, but X, X, X. Another play, X. Well, when times get tough, he's not real interested. In the NFL, times get tough a lot. There's a lot of parity in that league. You could be 13-3 and then 3-13 like that. Okay, when we're 3-13, well, he's going to quit. That it makes no sense to not bust your ass every single play, because you only get so many of them. There's only so many of them. And if you want more plays down the road because you're a professional, then act like a professional right damn now. Okay? Because I don't see that. And that fires me up more than anything, because it doesn't take a lot to give full effort. That should be day one.
Here's why I think that this situation is pretty close to hopeless. You've changed personnel. I mean, ordinarily I can sit here and I can talk about, well, look, man, schematically, look, if Les would just quit running this, okay, then they would be better. There's no problems with the schematics of this thing. Oh, maybe they miss Joe Brady here and there, with some of the things that he was able to put in. But it's not like they don't have an accomplished play caller over there. This is the same offensive line coach. This is the same wide receivers coach. Does anybody doubt Kevin Falk's credentials to come in as a running backs coach? I mean, I'm not saying that Joe Brady wasn't a talented guy, but it's not like you have to start from scratch, okay? So your schematics are fine. You went from a 4-3 to a 3-4 defense, and if I hear one more person say, maybe I'm the dense one, okay? Because I don't think there's that big a difference, because they're in the nickel the whole time anyway. But Apu Ika apparently, felt that way, because apparently he can play over a center, but if you move him 18 inches over, he can't. That's bullcrap, okay? I'm sorry. You can play. May not be the best fit for him, but you're going to tell me you went all the way from strong contributor for a national championship team to I got to leave in 10 months? No, sorry. Don't. So I don't buy that it's schematics. Every one of these coaches on this staff has had success at one stop or another. Most of them have national championship rings. Hell, the defensive coordinator's got one from the last time he was here. So you've changed. You played all the quarterbacks. You've played all the wide receivers. You've played all the running backs. You've played all the defensive linemen that haven't quit. You have played all of the linebackers. You've played all of the defensive backs. Jordan Tolles is a name that we've been, asked about a lot. Hey, man, you got all these problems at safety. Why don't you play him? They did. Schwartz went by him like he was standing still. And you know what? He was standing still. He didn't know where to go.
Yeah.
I know Jordan Tolles can run. Okay? Watch go.
Oh, yeah,
looked like the road running the coyote. You went right by.
You watch the replay. The cornerback thinks that the safety's taking him. The safety thinks the corner's going to continue.
That's
to
happened
go to the
before.
receiver. Same song, different verse.
Right. The only place that you haven't made really wholesale substitutions and changes and tried things is on the offensive line. The reason why is you don't have anybody else. You got one guy backing up 5 positions, which is a whole nother problem. So you've tried changing personnel. You've tried simplifying scheme. You have called out the manhood of your team publicly, and that's what you got? You tell me how you going to fix it. Because I got nothing. I got nothing.
And you've used all the buzzwords to try to get maximum effort out of your guys.
If you're not going to play hard, then it doesn't really matter what plays I call. Okay, when LSU went there and got blown out in Brandon Harris's first start, I didn't feel this bad. I felt like, due to circumstances, they had to put a freshman in at the most important position on the field before he was ready, and the results were, well, they were awful. But I didn't feel like the rest of the team was that bad. I didn't feel like they didn't play for him. It just felt like the moment was too big for him at that particular point in his career, and I think Harris has said that, okay? Harris wasn't supposed to be playing quarterback in a full Jordan-Hare stadium at that point in his career. It was too much for him. It's not a knock on the kid. Did what he could. Wasn't ready, okay? They didn't lose this game because of T.J. Finley. Finley made some freshman mistakes. Even without a full stadium, it's still a pretty difficult place to play. Yeah, he didn't protect the ball the one time. Okay, that's 7. Threw an interception the other time. Okay, that's 14. You lost by 37 points, man. I'm not laying this in. And I understood why they took him out. Give the other kid a chance. He's struggling, not his day, whatever. But hey, ain't the reason they lost the game. No.
It contributed, but yeah, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, it was part of it.
Yeah, it's part of it. But
if they had lost
in
the game,
14,
they lost the game 24-7 because Finley made some costly turnovers. Yeah. All right, bummer, but I get it. Okay, the starter's on the bench. He's got an abdominal thingy. And by the way, didn't exactly get a great read on when he's coming back from. Not exactly a positive read from him. He said, well, not going today. We don't know. If Brennan can't play against Alabama, then I'm going to start to be concerned that he's not going to be back at all, or at the very least, when you've got this, you got this issue in your midsection where it causes you pain to follow through and throw a football, then I don't know how you play the position. I mean, short of it being a shoulder or an elbow, I don't know what else you could hurt that would impede you more. 2 years, was it 3 years ago? I think it was the 17 season. If I got my numbers right. Drew Brees had an oblique problem, and he couldn't follow through the way he wanted to, and it affected his ability to throw. Now, this isn't the same type of injury, but it's in that midsection part where you have to twist and you have to follow through. If he's not back in 2 weeks, I'm going to really start to, because you got 5 straight weeks starting next Saturday. If he's not back for that, I'm going to start to think, man, look, we call it a unique injury. The doctors don't know exactly for sure. If he's not back for Alabama, I'm going to start to wonder, well, is he going to get back? Is it possible, or does this thing need a lot longer to heal than what we thought initially? Because I didn't hear a coach that had an abundance of confidence that he was going to be back. He didn't come back and say, no, it's healed up. He's ready to go back to practice. He's ready to go back and play. I didn't hear that.
So what do you think happens this week in practice? Because you saw Finley leave, Johnson came in, and Johnson had a couple of nice plays, but, obviously it was a different point in the game. Yeah. The stress level was a little bit different. So what do you think goes on this week? Do you think it's back open?
If it were me, I would put Finley in starter reps at practice, and I would let Johnson take the backup reps. So about 4-to-1, 5-to-1 ratio. I'm not really up for having quarterback competitions in November. I think the time for that is past. You saw enough in practice. You picked your guy. You know that he's capable. I'd go back to him. I think if you split reps at this point, you may be doing more harm than good. Let the guy develop. He was the guy you picked. I understood why you took him out Saturday. Okay, no problem with that. But you had an open competition. They were here in the spring. I know they didn't have all of spring football, but they were here on campus. They were here throughout the summer. They were here all the way up to the time when Brennan got hurt. So give the guy the opportunity. He's won the job. They told us that. He's won the job. So he turns the ball over. Very
slightly, though.
Well, but he turned the ball over twice at Auburn. I'm not going to tell him it's not his job. I think that
I wouldn't tell him it's his job. I don't think I would still allow there to be competition just so they continue to try to get better and they continue to try to push each other. I'm a big believer in that.
Okay.
Now, the reps, if you want to do them that way, I'm okay with that.
Okay, and I understand what you're saying with competition. Yeah. I'm inclined to agree with you with this exception. In order to give either one of these guys the best opportunity to succeed, they need to play. I need to have repetition. I need them to make these mistakes and learn from them and come back and correct them. I don't know if you do that as quickly if you continue to divide reps. I think the time for the dividing of the reps and deciding which one you were going to go with, I think that time has passed. So if Finley was their guy, they said we had a competition, Finley won the competition, he's our starting quarterback, then give him the maximum amount of practice reps that he can get so that he can improve. Because if you get into a situation where every time he makes a mistake, he's going to be looking over his shoulder, or he makes a mistake because he didn't rep something enough, you set yourself back a little bit. So if it were me, I would have come out today and I'd have said, TJ Finley's my starting quarterback if Miles Brennan is still injured, and he's going to take starter reps in practice. That's what I would do.
And I'm not calling for Max just to take over, because I agree with you. You took him out for a reason. He had 2 interceptions in that game. The game was out of hand. You don't want to mess his psyche up moving forward this year. If he won that job, it's his job. But I would like to see them continue to push each other, because I do think it's important. And
I
get
where you're coming from.
You do have some extra time, and so we'll see what that competition, what the reps kind of look like. Just because I'll be honest, I'm like you. I don't have a lot of faith that Miles is coming back after what I just heard.
No, didn't sound real good. We'll take a break. Hanging with Hester and Hanny, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hanging with Hester and Hanny.
Gotros Outdoor Power. I get that we're going into the winter months here, and you're not necessarily thinking about mowing grass because you have to do less of it, right? The weather's cold, grass is not growing as fast, but you should, because if you're going to go out and you're going to buy a mower, the best deals to be had sometime are when? In the off season.
That's right.
Our friends over at Skag are offering 60 months interest-free financing, plus free delivery, plus the best warranty in the industry. So if you're thinking about a zero turn for next year, whether it be residential or commercial, get to Gotros Outdoor Power right now.
2 locations locally, Airline at Industriaplex in Baton Rouge, Airline 74 in Gonzales. Go check out the showroom. It's impressive. You'll fall in love with a piece of Skag power equipment. We can promise you that. But if you can't make it to those 2 locations, go to GotrosOutdoorPower.com. Across the state of Louisiana, free delivery. Remember that. Just another reason that Gotros Outdoor Power, we make it easy.
Saints coverage, Chiefs, Cowboys, Thursday night, Sunday night, and Monday Night Football. From the opening kickoff to the playoffs and the Super Bowl, the NFL lives on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Foundation failure is common in South Louisiana, and that's why homeowners here turn to a local company they can trust, WCK Foundation Repair.
WCK is the only company that specializes in drilled piers, the ideal solution for Louisiana's unique soil conditions. WCK is locally owned and operated by a group of professionals with years of experience.
Learn more about the signs of foundation failure on WCKFoundationRepair.com. Call for a free estimate. WCK Foundation Repair. Support the home team.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you, and God bless.
T-Bob Hebert here with breaking news. Front to Back Boat Services is the shop to upgrade your boat tech this fall. With not 1 but 2 NMEA certified techs, who better to install your Panoptic sonar, your HD displays. You want to see the fish under the water before you even cast? They have that. Trolling motor you could control with your iPhone? They have that. So what are you waiting for? Get into Front to Back Boat Services right now. Upgrade your boat tech. Make your boating dreams come true. Front to Back Boat Services.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Service Master Elite create.
Coming up on Tuesday's Off the Bench, Coach O stops by for his regular check-in. How are the Tigers looking to get it right during the bye? Plus, hear from Coach Derek Stingley Sr. and Nick Underhill breaks down the Saints' big win. Off the Bench, 7 to 10 a.m., 104.5 ESPN.
Hangin' with Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger.
Javon Wims is not a very smart person. How would you punch somebody in the helmet?
Because we are meatheads and we don't think about the repercussions of hitting someone with a helmet on. We just think, I'm going to hit you like we're out on the street. And it happened a bunch of places in different situations across college and pro football this weekend.
Think about how dumb a decision that is. First of all, you're not going to hurt the guy. Second of all, there's a decent chance that you're going to hurt your hand. If you punch it right into the helmet part of it, there's a good chance you could hurt yourself. You're going to get ejected. You're going to get fined. I'm pretty sure he's going to get suspended. And you're going to get penalized. What possible good could come?
I wonder how far back this goes for these two. We're talking about Georgia and Florida players. We got.
He said Johnson spit on him.
He did, and he ripped his mouthpiece off.
Johnson said he didn't. Who knows?
Okay. Obviously, Gardner Johnson is a trash talker. Can we agree there? I mean, Michael Thomas, he had a situation on his own team, and I'm sure these two probably had something going on in college, and it continued on the field on Sunday. He snatched his mouthpiece off, didn't see spit. We don't know. That's the claim. We'll see. I'm sure they'll do a full investigation. But the next time he was in, there was no doubt who he was going after. And he snatches his mouthpiece off, and it is a two-piece. I'm getting kicked out of this game. I'm going to get that 20-piece McNugget fine, and I don't care.
Again, give me. If you're that
it might
steamed,
be more than that. It might be more than 20.
You're that steamed at him, so you're going to go take a swing at him. Okay. Why are you going to try to punch him in the helmet with your open hand or with your closed fist? You're going to hurt yourself.
We are meatheads. That just happens.
Well, go tackle him. Try to get him on the ground. Punch him in his stomach, where he's got no padding.
The worst thing you can do, in my opinion, when you're getting in a fight on the football field is be the person who grabs the face mask first and just control him. Because then it looks like, where are you going? You can't
control
go anywhere.
ahead.
You're my guy. Yeah. Right? Because I've seen that done on a football field, and then they start swinging, but you already got leverage and they can't get to you. You want to show somebody up? Do that. But, that was a wild scene there for a little bit.
This is going to cost him.
I don't even know.
He's going to be suspended. I can't imagine he's not going to be suspended over this. So now you're talking about a game check or checks plus the fine. Plus, isn't it an automatic?
He might get released. I mean, this is a fringe player already,
right.
A late-round draft choice in 2018 who plays. He's a special teams guy, kind of your fourth receiver. You embarrass the franchise. Yeah. They'll release you for stuff like that.
Isn't there an automatic fine with an ejection?
No.
There's not. Okay.
I
he's going to get fined on top of that. I was just wondering if there was an automatic.
9 times out of 10 you will.
Right.
But they can go back, and if they watch the tape and they think, okay, well, the referee just missed that when he missed what happened before that, sometimes they'll take that off of the fine chart.
In the meantime, the Saints won their fourth consecutive game. They've won them all by one score or, a score or less. But then this one had to go to overtime. But the Saints go up and they get a hard-fought win without their top 3 receivers.
Right.
So when we said, let me not lump you in with me here because I want to take the full blame by myself. The beginning of the season, we said, well, Breeze can't throw the ball down the field anymore. And even if that was correct and they're not throwing the ball down the field very much, guy was 31 of 41 for 280 yards, 2 touchdowns and no interceptions. On the road, in the cold, difficult place to play when it's that nasty weather environment, right?
Right.
That's better than probably 3/4 of the quarterbacks played yesterday in the NFL. I mean, who wouldn't take? You're still leading the league in completion percentage, 280 yards, right at 7 yards an attempt. That's not,
That's just
otherworldly, but it's good enough.
Right, it's who this team is, Hanny.
Yes.
It's okay. Look, Kamara's got 9 catches. Jared Cook's got 5 catches, including the game winner. Until Michael Thomas comes back, or we don't know when that is, and you're still winning games, dinking and dunking.
I got confidence
That's
that
completely okay.
Hear me out, but based on the injuries that they've got, is it going to be any surprise if next week for Tampa Bay, the biggest game left on your schedule, that Thomas, Sanders, and Callaway could all be back?
I think that's a very likely possibility.
Right. Exactly when you need them to go into the biggest game of the year. The game that not only allows you to climb a game in the standings on Tampa, but also gives you the tiebreaker. No matter what else happens, you'll have won the series, and you don't have to go to things like division record or conference record that get down to tiebreakers. You get essentially it's a game and a half.
This
I think
team
you may get them all back.
continues to find a way, which is all you can hope for in the NFL. A 1-point victory against the last place team in your division in the NFL is the greatest feeling, and it never changes no matter who you beat. I promise you. In college, it's different. In college, if you're Clemson and you just beat Boston College like that, I know they were dancing in the locker room, which is a little questionable, but you don't feel great about that compared to maybe if you did that to Notre Dame this week if you're Clemson. Okay, the NFL is different. A win is a win is a win. Now, you can correct all the film and all that type of stuff, but a road win in the NFL against, let's call it a team that is overachieved as well. I mean, they were 5-2. They put themselves in a pretty good position. Yeah, you feel good about it.
It's a flawed team in New Orleans. They've got some holes in the secondary in particular, but they can run. They can stop the run, so that's a great place to start. They can run the football. Their pass rush has improved as the season has gone along, and I thought it was very good yesterday. And the quarterback is still playing at a high level. He's not playing at peak of his career prime level, but he's playing at plenty high enough a level for you to win. You put yourself in a position to, at the halfway point of the season, go and overtake your number one rival for the division in both the standings and with the tiebreak. Listen, the Vegas loss was ugly, but right now, listen, they're doing just enough. They're not blowing teams away, but, man, they're finding ways to win. They play hard. They have found ways to compensate for people that they have lost. And, yeah, the secondary still drives me crazy because there's still too many busts, but I don't hate what I've seen at all. I feel pretty good because if I take the best team in the NFC, which I think is Seattle, and record-wise is Seattle, I know they can be had. They don't look overwhelming to me. They have holes on defense.
Right.
Saints also made a trade today. They're going to bring in
an LSU player,
former
Hanny.
LSU
I stole
player.
your thunder there. I was so excited.
That's okay. Kwon Alexander coming for a draft choice. So they both. And did they move Kiko Alonso too?
That's the word. I haven't seen that officially. That is the word that he'll be the player added to this package.
Alexander's been out since week 5, I think.
Yeah, week 5 with a high ankle.
But he's supposed to be coming back, and he's got to pass a physical for the trade to go through anyway. So you'll know if he's physically able to play. The trade goes through. That means he's got to pass a physical. So good news for them on that front. We like Kwon. Kwon
signed a big free agent deal. Just had some injuries.
Absolutely. Another healthy defensive piece. If he could play in the secondary, that'd be even better.
He's played at a Pro Bowl level in his career not that long ago. So this could, obviously there's a little bit of risk because of his injury history the last couple of years. But if this one, plays out for a 5th-round choice and an aging hurt linebacker in himself, that'd be a pretty big deal.
You like Alvin Kamara?
Love Alvin Kamara.
Big fan.
Goodness gracious. That guy's a different type of player than anybody else in the league.
He's a dude.
He's a dude.
He's
with a capital D.
Correct. Shea Dixon, when we come back for the good news for LSU over the weekend, it came in recruiting. This Hang with Hester and Hanny, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin with Hester and Hanny. In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è.
Call Mr. Electric today for electrical repairs, upgrades, and installations.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
The winner is the dog with antioxidant vitamin C.
Given the choice, why wouldn't you choose the one with antioxidant vitamin C? Choose Vizzy Hard Seltzer.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers, offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as a bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for Monday's AFR presented by Relief Windows. We'll recap LSU and Auburn from the Plains. We'll hear from Ed Ogeron, and we'll talk Saints-Bears. Join us for Monday's AFR, 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin with Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger.
We're brought to you by Richards Honda, home of the warm and fuzzy feeling. Bringing some warm and fuzzy and sunshine into a otherwise gloomy Monday, not weather-wise, but just, attitude-wise. is Shea Dixon from Go247. Shea, good afternoon. How are you?
Good afternoon, guys. Charlie, no one was bringing me onto the radio last week saying it was going to be warm and fuzzy, only after they get all the good news.
Right. Shea, we need you today. We absolutely need you today. So the Sage Ryan thing, which had everybody on had a bunch of angst, I would say, last week, and it appeared that it was trending to Alabama. LSU rallied the troops up, and in what was a pretty emotional ceremony on Saturday, the safety from Lafayette Christian picked LSU.
Yeah, and imagine how much angst LSU had. I mean, look, I think that my best way to sum up what happened and how we kind of got through that week into Saturday with him picking LSU was LSU had gone through that process for so long. And look, he's a 5-star, number 1 safety in the country on 24/7 Sports. The real deal. I mean, he's got Alabama and Clemson as other teams in the final group. But he's about the only guy you could have ever said, he's still going to wind up at LSU. You can throw all those teams in there, sure, they can do all they want. But when you're related to Kevin Falk, who's on staff, when you're related to Trev Falk, who obviously was a great linebacker for the Tigers, when you play in Lafayette and you've got family who want you to wind up at LSU, I think that everyone, I certainly did, and I think what we saw from the coaching staff was, yeah, they recruited him, but they never had to really get down in the weeds with him until the end, and they realized, oh, watch out. Alabama is not only in this, but they're about to grab him. And that's when I think we saw Corey Raymond, Kevin Falk, and very notably Trev Falk kind of get down, take the gloves off, sit down with Sage and have conversations that you didn't really ever think you were going to have with him. Let him make his decision, and he's probably going to wind up at LSU, and you can kind of coach him up from there. But they went all in on the family angle, and Charlie, you mentioned it, an emotional decision. Everybody's probably seen the video by now, and if you haven't, I'm sure you can find it on Twitter. Sage just tweeted it. I've retweeted it, but it was all tears. And God, Trev Falk broke out the old school jersey, like when you would take out the iron and put all the names on before you were even stitching them on. Like that was a legit game worn jersey there, and grabs mom and Sage, and he's crying and they're crying. And I think they let out the emotion of kind of how tough that week was to make the decision and make sure that he felt good with it.
This was definitely a position of need as well, Shea. I mean, this is a guy that could potentially come in here and play right away. Obviously, the family ties, but it seems like that was intriguing to Sage Ryan as well, because not everybody wants to come in and play right away. Maybe they're not ready for it, but he seems like he is game ready.
And that's what we're forgetting when the drama of the week is that they got someone they absolutely had to have from a need standpoint, because whether you're looking, and he's versatile. He can play corner, safety. They've mentioned nickel a good bit. I think if you want comps for him, I'll try to avoid the Tyrann Mathieu thing just because that's an easy one to go to. But he is that kind of guy in the return game that you can move into the box or play around the line, or he can just be a pure safety for you. I think Jabril Peppers type body, Malcolm Jenkins type game. Some people have said a little bit of a Landon Collins. Collins a little bit taller than he is, but you get the sense of the type of player they're getting. And I think he's someone that's going to come in and help right away. And what we've seen from the defense this year, he could be playing. I mean, he's going to come in as a freshman and be just as talented as most everyone in those two rooms. So I'm interested to see where they're going to use him. At 5'11 and a half and playing at a little over 200 pounds, he's probably a safety, but they feel like he can play in the nickel, and maybe that's a spot you put him in early.
Shea, this may be a dumb question. I'm going to ask it anyway. You usually don't see these type of ceremonies on a Saturday, on a weekend. Typically, they're done at the school. If they're not on signing day, they'll do it sometime during the week. I mean, they know the colleges are playing on Saturdays. The conspiracy theorists were out in full force last week that this was because it was Saban's birthday. Do you ever say why he did this on a Saturday? Why he picked Saturday?
Because it was Saban's birthday. I wholeheartedly believe that. I think that Alabama was in a spot, not where they said, look, you have to do it on this day, but from everything I've gathered, and this is coming from all sides, is that when that smoke came earlier in the week and he set the decision date, he had been talking to him for a couple of weeks about, okay, I think I do want, I think I may be leaning towards going to Alabama, to committing. And they had been in his ear a good bit and really been in the weeds with him. And I think that, yes, you would certainly believe that Alabama, if they could have even the smallest hand in it, would say do it Saturday, do it on Saban's birthday, do it on game day. Yes, I totally believe that. And unfortunately, it didn't work out for Nick Saban.
So you're telling me that this kid on purpose made his announcement on Saban's birthday, but he just did it to go to LSU?
I think at one point, whenever he set his announcement date, in his mind he was leaning towards Alabama, and he kept it on Saban's birthday, even though he knew he was going to LSU. I like this kid. I'm a fan. That's what the Alabama side kind of said whenever I was like, look, LSU's gaining confidence. They said, well, then he'll probably push it back, right? Is he still going to do it on Saban's birthday? And sure enough, he did in Trev Falk's gym. So I think it was about as LSU as you can get.
All right, Shea, I could talk about this commitment because it is a big one. It wasn't the only commitment LSU got. Jack Besh is someone that you and I have talked about. I think this is one of the more undervalued recruits in this 2021 class. He is a bigger receiver that I think you can do a lot of things with offensively. Kind of give us a thumbnail on Jack Besh.
Well, if you watched the game Saturday and said, we're the dudes who care if they're wearing purple and gold, that'll actually go out there and show that they want that honor of playing for the Tigers. Not that I don't think the guys on the team value it, but they didn't have the energy on Saturday. They didn't have the love of what we've seen from teams in the past, and that's a guy like Jack Besh. And look, I'm not just saying give me 85 Jack Beshes, but then again, he's led the state receiving in back-to-back years. This ain't no scrub. He's a really good player. I think that the pause on him becomes, okay, he's 6'2.5", he's probably 210, you can obviously bulk up. Do you like him at wide receiver? Do you like him at tight end? Do you want to just kind of flex him out? He's an incredibly willing blocker and really good at it, whether he's playing out on the boundary or you have him lined up closer to the line and put some weight on him. So I'm with you. I really like this addition. And in fact, when Louisiana is giving you so many good players and you've got a guy who in back-to-back years is leading the state, who is well-built, who knows how to get open, who's a smart player, who's got bloodlines, take him, make the move. And you saw, he was committed to Vandy. Well, when LSU offered, within 24 hours, it was Texas, TCU, Mississippi State, Notre Dame. All of these teams were probably managing their boards and saying, okay, this is a guy we really like. We can move on. And when LSU did, it sort of flooded in from there. And he didn't let it go very long. I think he made it about 8 days before he went public with a commitment. But, yes, this is a kid out of STM that reminded us, and as he reminded me on when I called him for an interview on Sunday evening after he committed, that Sage Ryan on Saturday, Jack Besh on Sunday. Don't let people forget that Lafayette is very much an LSU area. New Orleans and North Louisiana. Jacob, I know you're here, but Baton Rouge, we've seen it all. Guys leaving, not from Boomtown. So I'll give them some credit there. Lafayette is still LSU country.
Shea, 21 commitments now. Let me ask my obligatory where are the linemen question, because you've got 21 commitments, you've got 4 slots left in the class, and you've got 1 offensive lineman committed.
Well, at first you said where are the linemen, so I was just going to give you 3 of the 4 will probably be linemen. If you're having a dream finish, 2 of them being on the defensive side, Mason Smith and Corey Foreman, and they're still in good spots there. Look, these guys are seeing Ojulari and these other guys play well, and certainly in Ojulari's case, play early. And they're also seeing that guys like Glenn Logan and Neil Farrell are getting older in the program. Andre Anthony, there's room for guys like Foreman and Mason Smith to come in. So despite their season, and I've always been an advocate of this, now don't go 2-8 on me, but kids don't care as much if you're winning and losing, even in a year like this, because they experience that. They get it. They want to play with talented guys on a team that can compete for championships, and those guys still see that. The answer to your question is, if you're taking out all geographical ties and meaning Mason Smith, the most important guy left is Tristan Lee, and he's a 5-star offensive tackle and a guy that started 3 years of high school and he's never given up a sack. These are the Evan Neal types that Bama gets that can start for you for 3 years, that can be a guy that you watch Alabama, they're running left on. They've got a great offensive line. They're still running behind their left tackle anytime they can. And that's what Tristan Lee can bring you. And look, a year ago, Marcus Dumerville, I think he was the number 12 offensive tackle in the country. James Craig has commitment right now, the lone O lineman committed. is a guy named Garrett Dellinger out of Michigan. And I think I was trying to Google right as I was saying it, lost my train of thought. Number 11 offensive tackle in the country. Okay, so you've got two guys in 2 years who are top 12 tackles. You can get them in and develop them, but you want the 5-star type. You want the guy who's a top 3 tackle, and that can immediately help you. And that's what Tristan Lee is. It's an LSU-Oklahoma battle here, and really I think it's how it's going to play out in through this final month and however long he drags it out. But I still like LSU, and from the times I've talked with Tristan, one thing that's really stood out is he's always said, look, I'm looking at all these schools and depth charts, and playing early is important to me. Being developed is certainly important, but playing early is something I want to do. And a lot of these teams say, hey, look, come in and you can play early. But I'm also looking at a lot of these teams, and he has offers from Bama and Clemson and Ohio State. He says, I'm looking at their class last year. They had 2 5-star tackles. The year before, they had 3 5-star tackles. So I do see it in my path at LSU, and I think that's been one of their biggest chips to play here, is that he is the guy, and if he can come in and prove it, he'll be on the field.
Shea, real quick, last one from me. We've heard so many times when big-time prospects have gotten together, they say, hey, we're almost like a package deal because we've been at all these camps together. We've been at the opening together, right? We've got a great relationship. How much of that do you really believe with Corey Foreman and Mason Smith?
I don't buy it. I think they're each going to make their decision separately. And I think that could also mean that they both like the idea of if they both land at the same school, whether that's LSU or Georgia. I think those are the two that you would consider at this point. And they've certainly gone to both together. They've showed signs of wanting to be a package deal. But when push comes to shove, if Corey Foreman feels like, oh, I'm going to stay home and maybe I will go to Southern Cal, and I'm just giving you an example, Mason Smith isn't going to go to Southern Cal. He's going to go to LSU or Georgia, wherever he feels like going. And I think that I'm buying into that these two are going to pick whoever recruits them the best, and they feel like they're going to come in and make an impact and be able to compete on the team they want to be on. I think that if it works out if it works out as a package deal, I think that's probably for LSU's best right now. I'd give them a slight edge on Georgia as being the team that holds the advantage there.
Shea, one real quick question to finish up, and this is out of the Bayou Ford chat, is Tristan Lee was viewed as an LSU-Clemson battle and now is being viewed as an LSU-Oklahoma battle. Is Clemson still in there?
They're in there and recruiting him, but I think at this point it's going to be either LSU or Oklahoma. Their two staffs have just done such a really good job with him and stayed up front. And Ohio State was creeping in there, but he ended up not going to their big kind of recruit weekend that the kids and their parents put on, and he was at Georgia and LSU for those. So just how he's shown he was at LSU and Oklahoma for those. So just how he's shown interest in the Sooners and Tigers is why I think that they're probably the two teams that have got the sizable lead on everybody else.
Go 247. Appreciate it as always, Shea. Thanks a lot. We'll talk to you soon.
The warm and fuzzies, friends. There's a lot of good things in there. Play this segment again after the break.
Shea Dixon, our ray of sunshine today.
We're home of the warm and fuzzy feeling.
Yes,
so
absolutely, for sure. Thanks, Shea. Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
Take a break. Back on the other side. Hanging with Hester and Hanny, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hanging with Hester and Hanny.
All right, brought to you by Garcia Roofing. No gimmicks with Garcia. You're going to get the Garcia guarantee. You're also going to get free roof inspection. That is very important for me to tell you about because it worked wonders for me. We're buying a new home. They come out. It was free to us. I'll remind you time and time again, free service to us for them to come look at our roof, tell us exactly what we needed because the other company was just trying to put shingles on this home, right? So they said, no, you need way more than that. The ventilation was not done right. They gave me a list of what I needed. They gave me photos of what I needed, and all of that was free. Free, like Island Hanny says.
Your trusted home improvement experts from Garcia Roof in Baton Rouge and New Orleans, Lafayette, and on the North Shore. Roof now and pay later. Garcia didn't get to be the largest home roofing company in the South without doing fantastic work. Call 756-3100 online. It's GarciaDidMyRoof.com.
Off the Bench, Hanging with Hester and Hanny, after further review and more, are all live daily on the 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge YouTube channel. Subscribe now to interact with us inside the live chat driven by Bayou Ford.
I can't tell you how many people try tried to discourage me when I said, I'm opening up a haunted house. If you love doing something, don't let anything or anyone stand in your way.
How he comes up with this stuff in his head and designs it is mind-boggling.
Debbie and Home Bank understand my business and understand that it's not normal. They've worked with me since the beginning to help my business grow.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you, and God bless.
T-Bob Hebert here with breaking news. Front-to-Back Boat Services is the shop to upgrade your boat tech this fall. With not one but two NMEA certified techs, who better to install your Panoptic sonar, your HD displays. You want to see the fish under the water before you even cast? They have that. Trolling motor you could control with your iPhone? They have that. So what are you waiting for? Get into Front-to-Back Boat Services right now. Upgrade your boat tech. Make your boating dreams come true. Front-to-Back Boat Services.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs.
Join us for a Monday edition of Jimmy Ott's Game Time, presented by VisitNatchez.org. We're live from the Pig Out Inn in Natchez, Mississippi, to recap the weekend and look ahead to Monday Night Football. Tune in at 6 p.m. on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin with Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger.
We're brought to you in part by Supreme Rice, SupremeRice.com. Hey, making a big pot of something, man, whether it's etouffee or stew or gumbo. Always do it with Supreme Rice. Support our Louisiana farmers down in Crowley, Louisiana. 1930s. All of the Supreme Rice is grown, milled, and processed right there in Louisiana. So support our Louisiana farmers. Whether it's the long grain, the brown rice, or the jasmine, you're always going to get great product from Supreme Rice. You can pick it up at any Walmart, any Costco, any of your AG food dealers. When you cook with rice, cook with Supreme Rice. For more information and great recipes, go to SupremeRice.com.
Sorry, I was talking flag football with Bash in the Hall.
I understand.
Got a big game tonight.
Hey, you saw the
against the Longhorns. Horns down.
You are in favor of Dan Mullen getting a little invoice from the league, right, for his role in the skirmish against Mizzou the other night?
Yeah, for sure.
The league obliged you. They sent him a $25,000 invoice.
Yeah, you might hear about this again later on in the week from me, but let me just get it off my chest. Okay, Dan, you have to be smarter than that, because you're supposed to be the I mentioned we're meatheads because we are. Football players, we're a little bit of not a little bit, a lot of meatheads, okay? You have to be in that situation. Did they take a cheap shot at your quarterback? Absolutely. And they should have got flagged for it. Allow your offensive lineman to try to take care of that, okay? You can't be the one that gets everybody fired up to go out there and fight, because you know what you did? You helped out the Georgia Bulldogs, okay? Because there was going to be suspensions. There was going to be fines like you got. And by the way, Georgia plays Missouri in 2 weeks or in a bye week, so it helps them out twice, because there's players from Missouri that are going to be getting suspended for that game as well. And even though you want to go after the officials and the coach, you've got to try to get your team to the locker room, because you've got bigger fish than Missouri to fry. You're trying to win the East this week coming up, right? You had to know in your head, hey, the last thing I need is, even if it's my backup nickel or if it's my backup tight end, I might need him. Let's get our butt to the locker room, and we'll get them back when we come out in the third quarter. I know it's hard to say that, because y'all know me and my personality. I want to get mine right then as well. But you got to think bigger picture. And not only did you get them fired up, then you come out of the locker room and you're pumping them up like a WWE match, right? So the league saw that, wasn't happy. Now, this amount of money is not a hair on Damon's rear end. But
what'd you think of the costume?
That was something. I'm not sure T-Bob loved it, though. It was Darth.
I was going to say childish, but it was a Darth Vader costume. At least it was a menacing costume, right? Greatest villain in movie history, but I don't know.
Right, because he was in The Blind Side. I like it, Cade.
Dynamite drop in, Monty. Back on the other side for hour number 3. Hanging with Hester and Hanny, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hanging with Hester and
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
I'm feeling good. So good. I just thought you should know.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you, and God bless.
Callahan Injury Lawyers.
I'm Christine Lisi. Here's what's happening. Tom Brady leads the surging Buccaneers against the Giants on Monday Night Football tonight, 8:15 Eastern, ESPN TV and the ESPN app. Tampa Bay, among the NFC's best, has won 5 of 7, and in the last 5 games, Tom Brady has 15 touchdown passes, just 1 interception. One thing the Giants defense must do tonight, get pressure in Brady's face, advises Monday Night Football analyst Louis Riddick.
You have to absolutely assault the area between the guards as far as pass protection is concerned. And before they do that, they have to make sure that they slow down what is turning out to be an improving running game for Tampa, so they can get him in second and long, third and long, where from a percentage standpoint, you know they're going to throw the football and try and take shots downtown.
Louis Riddick with Keyshawn Johnson, Jay Williams, and Zubin Mehenti. The 49ers traded linebacker Kwon Alexander to the Saints. The Chargers traded former All-Pro defensive back and punt returner Desmond King to the Titans for a 6th-round pick. NFL trade deadline is 4 Eastern tomorrow. Florida football coach Dan Mullen fined $25,000 after Saturday's brawl between the Gators and Missouri.
Look, we all accidentally damage our phones. It happens. Now, Straight Talk Wireless's new Platinum Unlimited plan includes phone protection. Just $65 a month for unlimited talk, text, data, and more. See Mobile Protect terms and conditions at Asurion.com/Straight Talk. Limitations and exclusions apply.
Now, Hangin with Hester and Hanny with Jacob Hester and Charles Hanagriff. Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger. Alongside Jacob Hester, here's Charles Hanagriff.
Hanging with Hester and Hanny, hour number 3, brought to you by Richard's Honda, home of the warm and fuzzy feeling. Did you enjoy your holiday weekend, your Halloween weekend, I guess I should say? Does anybody do Halloween quite as well as T-Bob?
You did.
I did okay. I didn't think I did as good as Olaf. I thought Olaf won the prize.
Okay, well, I mean, you sat in here for a long time with a Vanderbilt Commodore costume on.
Trying to be a pirate and came out looking like a Commodore.
Now, this weekend was good because the only thing good about the LSU game for me was the time of day that it was. And so drove to New Orleans, did my CST studio duties, drove back, watched the game, was able to trick-or-treat with Katie and the boys. And my dad was in town as well, so we had a lot of fun. And then right when we finished up, got back in the car, drove to New Orleans, did the post-game, ranted a little bit, and got back in the car and drove back in time to watch my Everton Toffees lose. So.
Was it a real positive? Was it like my post-game show? Was it real positive, full of energy, that kind of thing?
It was full of energy, but I don't know if I'd say that it was positive.
No.
And of course, we do that post-game show, LSU Tonight, with Scott Shanley, who's obviously one of the great linebackers for the Saints in the last 20 years, right? And he was pointing out some of the flaws on defense, and it's glaring. I mean, when you turn on the tape and you see it, and you hear a guy who's won the Super Bowl playing the position at the highest level, and he's like, "What are you doing? Why are your hands out like this? Because you're in the point of the season. There should be no more of this, but you're looking at your buddy doing that." So It's
football guys that are asking the same questions that we usually do, or that a fan would ask. A guy like Shanley, Cole Kublik, who does. I think if you don't get a chance to see any SEC football in a given weekend, if you're out of town or whatever, and you just want to get a good snapshot of the league, follow Cole Kublik on Twitter, because he does basically a little thumbnail of everybody in the league, and you can read it in about 3 minutes, and you can get just a little taste of what everybody's done in the league. And his take on LSU today, I'm paraphrasing, I don't have it in front of me, but it was basically like, what in the world are you guys doing?
Yeah. He wrote me. I'll be fully transparent. He wrote me on Sunday morning. He said, and I quote, "What in the hell was that?" I said, "How long you got?"
Because it's not schematic, man. It's not personnel. It's attitude. They're not this bad. They're not this untalented. Okay, they just cannot possibly be. And the 4-3 defense is not the villain in all of this. It is somewhere between the coaches and the players. Something is not getting taught. Something is not getting across. There is as bad a disconnect right now as I can remember, certainly in the last 20 years. Because even in games that they lost, badly, you could always kind of point to something. You look at some of the big losses. Okay, why'd they lose the national championship game? Because Les's game plan was awful. Okay, why'd they lose by 34 points to Auburn the last time they went there and lost this badly? Well, because they had a freshman quarterback who wasn't quite ready. Okay, why'd they lose Saturday? Well, Saturday because he quit.
Yeah,
I mean they lost Saturday because they quit.
At the first sign of adversity.
Yes, the very.
There was
first
no
sign.
really adversity before the second quarter.
And I'm not saying everybody in there did. Okay, I thought there was a couple of guys that were given what you would call max effort, but not a lot of them. Not a lot of them. Elsewhere in the league, we saw some, I guess, predictable. It was about, other than the LSU Auburn game, was about as predictable a weekend as you could have. Alabama was supposed to blow Mississippi State out, and they did. Georgia was supposed to beat Kentucky, and they did. But Kentucky can take they can take the air out of the ball with the best of them, huh?
That's what they want to do.
It felt like that game was being played in the mud. But Georgia was supposed to win the game by about 2 touchdowns, and that's a little bit less than that. But A&M was
17.5, I think was
the line did go up to 17.5. They ended up winning by 11, so maybe a little bit
real
less.
Quick, you're not going to win national championships throwing 13 passes. I don't care who you're playing. Stetson Bennett, 9 of 13, 131 yards, 2 interceptions, and no touchdowns. He had a rushing touchdown. You're not going to be who you want to be with that game plan. They asked me on our show this morning, who do you think Alabama wants to play? I said, Georgia, over Georgia and Florida. That was the 2 choices. Because Florida can score on anybody. I truly believe that. And Georgia's defense is much better than Florida's, but their model, we've already seen, doesn't work against Alabama.
Right. They can't score enough points to beat Alabama.
And at this point in your schedule, you had a couple of weeks where you felt like you were easily going to win. You didn't change anything. And then now you're about to go get in a shootout in Jacksonville, or try to, and that doesn't bode well for you, because those 21 days that Florida had off, and we were asking the question, what are they going to look like?
Pretty good.
Looks like they got some defensive things figured out, because I actually think a lot of Missouri's offense. Now, as a team, and this isn't making excuses for what they did to LSU, but I think a lot of their offense, they looked a lot better. Right? So the Georgia staying pat and kind of holding the cards and not asking for a couple of shifts there, that shocks me.
I thought that Georgia was better than Florida. I thought they had better talent than Florida. I'm not sure I feel that way anymore. I don't think that there's as much of a gap as I had believed at the beginning of the season. I thought that Georgia was a little bit better, but I also thought that of the 2 teams, even if I thought Georgia was better than Florida, I thought Florida had a better chance to beat Alabama because of what you just said, the matchup. They can score points. Okay.
Give me an offensive player, though, because I've been hearing that about Georgia, and their defense is really good. It is. Give me an offensive player, and don't tell me recruiting ranking.
No.
Tell me what they've done at Georgia that you like now. There's freshmen that potentially could.
I like Pickens, but he's not Devontae Smith. He's not Seth Williams. He's not Terrace Marshall. I think he's a good player, but he's not a first-team All-SEC guy.
He would have been the fourth receiver on LSU's team last year. He would be the fourth receiver on Alabama. So, to my point, Zamir White, James Cook, these guys, good players coming in. I mean, a lot of hype, and White had a big game, but it's just not week in and week out.
They're more
as
guys.
far as a running back, yes. And when you look at the receivers, like Pickens, there's something there, but it's not a whole package. Jermaine Burton, LSU fans remember that name. He was committed to LSU for a long time. He's a freshman, potentially could be, but there's still something that he needs to work on and grow. So for me, their defense is really good, and there's some good players, but there's not overwhelming talent on the offensive side of the football for me for Georgia.
I'm leaning towards gobbling up the 4.5 points that I'm getting with Florida this weekend. How's that?
Okay.
I would tell you that. A&M was supposed to beat Arkansas by about what they beat them by. Arkansas got in a real nice backdoor cover if you rooting for such things, a meaningless touchdown. But I
it
thought
ain't meaningless to everybody.
No, it certainly wasn't. A&M went out and did what they were supposed to do. They were supposed to go out and score a bunch of points on Arkansas, and they did. Kellen Mond had an excellent game, and they never really let Arkansas they never completely put the game away until, really kind of into the fourth quarter.
Right.
But I never felt like Arkansas was any threat to win the game. That makes sense?
It makes perfect sense. And I've long told y'all, if I'm wrong, I'm going to admit that I'm wrong. And so far on Texas A&M, I've been wrong because we heard that they were coming. We've heard that they were going to do this, that, and the other. It's improved. Now, I'll say that to say this. They are not in the top tier. And they are not in the top 3 of the SEC. But it is an improvement on who they've been because they've struggled with Arkansas for the last couple of years when Arkansas hasn't been real good. Now, Arkansas is much improved, and they put this game away a couple of different times. And so Texas A&M is better than I thought they were coming into this year. Kellen Mond is doing a much better job of taking care of the football. They're not asking him to do a lot because Isaiah Spiller, he's a dude. He's went from a guy to a dude, and they're staying on schedule. Now, they still got some games. I know Peter Burns and I have gone back and forth. He thinks there's a potential they go 9-1 and backdoor themselves into the college football playoff. They still have games on their schedule that we'll see if they're done being the Texas A&M of old. I'm talking about almost every game on their schedule. They've got at South Carolina, at Tennessee, Ole Miss at home, LSU at home, at Auburn. Okay, if you want to be one of the top teams that you've been talking about being, we'll see if you can get through a stretch where I still think you have games that you're going to get not only challenged but pushed till the very end. But they beat a good Florida team. They did what they were supposed to against Mississippi State and Arkansas, which is more than I gave them credit for.
Jake, I'm kind of in Burns's camp here on this one. They're going to be favored in every one of their games the rest of the way. Now, I don't know if they're going to win them all, but a 9
potentially, if Auburn, which I don't think, if Auburn, if they somehow ran the table, that's the only one that I think they could even questionably be an underdog.
Texas A&M, as we stand today, in my opinion, has a better chance to make the playoff than Georgia or Florida. Because
they play Alabama again.
Georgia and Florida have to play each other, and the winner's got to play Alabama again, and that's 2 losses for both of them. And A&M doesn't have to. They've already played Alabama. They've already beaten Florida. And if Alabama runs the table as we expect they will, they don't have to go to the SEC championship game. Musso said this on Saturday. He was producing the post-game show, and he's like, what about A&M in the playoff? And I went, oh, come on, don't be ridiculous. Like, wait a minute. Oh, yeah. I mean, I can't point to any game and say, well, they're definitely going to lose that game.
I don't think you can point to any one of these games, though, and say.
Do they get tripped up? They could.
Yeah.
They could.
It's a tricky. It's a favorable, but a tricky into their season.
You want to know what game I would put them in the most peril to lose? You're going to laugh at me. of the 5 games that they have left, the one that would bother me the most if I were Jimbo Fisher or an A&M fan, Ole Miss. Because Ole Miss could get into one of those goofy games that ends up 49-47 and actually trip them up and beat them and score a whole bunch of points. And it's one of those games with 1,200 yards of total offense, and the total is 96 or something like that, and Ole Miss could clip them. I think much more of a chance of that than LSU or Auburn or Tennessee being able to go in there and score enough points to beat them. Ole Miss on the right day.
I think every game on their schedule is still going to be a challenge for them. Not to say that they couldn't. I'm not going to sit here and say that.
They're a touchdown favorite on the road this week. It's not even like Vegas thinks. They are a top 10 team that's going to face an unranked team on the road, and they're a touchdown favorite. So it's not like everybody thinks, oh, wow, they're great. But a 9-1 A&M team, yeah, they definitely could get in. Take a break. This is Hanging with Hester and Hanny, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hanging with Hester and Hanny.
GMFS Mortgage, GMFSmortgage.com. What are your goals financially? Because when you sit down and you put them on paper and you start talking about how to get there, it's probably going to involve your home ownership and how much you're paying for that. Your most expensive bill every single month, whether it be your rent or your mortgage. If you're renting, do you want to own? Right now, you have a great opportunity to get in at rock bottom interest rates. You want to upgrade your home. Your purchasing power has never been higher than it is right now. Do you like where you live? You don't want to move, but boy, it'd be nice if you paid just a little bit less. Would that change your monthly budget? Right now, with the interest rates where they are, there's a real good chance that you could shorten the length of your mortgage or the amount of money that you're paying every month. Start with a qualified counselor at gmfsmortgage.com. They'll give you all the information you need, and they'll walk you step by step all the way to the closing. They talk about changing lives. They're really talking about changing your budget. So do what I did and thousands of others have done and start at gmfsmortgage.com.
Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Here at the Big Squeezy, we continue to serve the Baton Rouge and Southeast Louisiana areas during these troubling times. We are dedicated to providing you healthy food items to help you live your best life. From our cold-pressed juices to our delicious smoothies, let the Big Squeezy keep you going. Stay active, stay happy, and let us help you stay healthy. Visit us at our locations and also inside of Alexander's and the Thurns grocery stores or online at thebigsqueezy.com.
All right, man, what do you want to watch? Football or football?
Let's go with football.
Football it is.
During times of trouble, hope keeps us calm, and courage keeps us strong. Here in Louisiana, we know this better than most. After all, we've faced hardship, but hurricanes and floods never washed away what makes us strong. It's our culture, the spirit of resilience that says rise and rise up again. We'll make it through the tough times, we always do. And Blue Cross will always be here to support you.
T-Bob Hebert here with breaking news. Front to Back Boat Services is the shop to upgrade your boat tech this fall. With not one but 2 NMEA certified techs, who better to install your Panoptic sonar, your HD displays. You want to see the fish under the water before you even cast? They have that. Trolling motor you could control with your iPhone? They have that. So what are you waiting for? Get into Front to Back Boat Services right now. Upgrade your boat tech. Make your boating dreams come true. Front to Back Boat Services.
Oh, hey, what's up? It's Big D and Bubba, 100.7 The Tiger Morning Show. We'd love for you to join us every weekday, 4 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Yeah, everything you want in a show. Country music.
We got laughs. We got celebrity in-studio guests. We just need you.
Join us every weekday morning, 4 a.m. to 9 a.m., right where it all started.
That's right. Louisiana's country station, 100.7, The Tiger.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and...
Coming up on Tuesday's Off the Bench, Coach O stops by for his regular check-in. How are the Tigers looking to get it right during the bye? Plus, hear from Coach Derek Stingley Sr. and Nick Underhill breaks down the Saints' big win. Off the Bench, 7 to 10 a.m., 104.5 ESPN.
Hangin' with Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger.
A lot of interesting stuff happened over the weekend. If you watched a lot of college football, I watched a lot of college football. I watched a lot of pro football over the weekend. Did you see DJ Uiagalelei?
I did.
DJ Uiagalelei had a real good game, didn't he? Threw for 342 yards, a couple of touchdowns. They found themselves in a 15-point hole at the break and still came back to win. And then the big news after the game that Trevor Lawrence, who is no longer the Heisman favorite, by the way, Mac Jones is now your Heisman favorite, will miss the game against Notre Dame this weekend. Anything that happened to Clemson in that game this weekend that caused them to, really have to play Boston College all the way to the end was not the fault of DJ Uiagalelei. DJ Uiagalelei. I thought it was more the Boston College fits that they gave Clemson's defense that was the story of the game.
No, Boston College, and we've talked about them a couple of times now. They're going to be a different team now that they made the change at head coach, and it's happening a lot sooner, I think, than any of us could have anticipated. But yeah, Clemson's defense in the first half looked a little lost at times, and they gave up 28 points in the first half. Now, credit to them, they shut them out in the second half, allowed their offense to come back in the game. But this is 2 weeks in a row now, 2 games in a row that, yes, you win the game, and they pulled away from Syracuse at the end, but that game was a pretty good fight for 3 quarters, and that's always kind of been the question about Clemson. Would they be in enough dogfights there in the season to once they got to the end of it, it would be enough, and they've been challenged enough. And so this is back-to-back weeks. Their back's been up against the wall a little bit, and now they're about to face their toughest opponent to date in Notre Dame, who I don't know who in the world they are. They're Jekyll and Hyde. I don't really know who they are, but I do know that talent-wise, it will be Clemson's toughest test.
They're second class. They're good with a chance to be great, but I wouldn't call them great just yet. There was one flukish play, to be fair to Clemson, in the game, which was the 97-yard fumble return. Clemson's getting ready to go in there and tie the score. They fumble. Boston College brings
should have it high and tight, not low and loose.
All the way back. So that did skew the margin a little bit. Didn't get to see or watch some of Ohio State, Penn State, but I'll be honest with you. I switched over. I was watching more of Arkansas A&M, Missouri, and Florida, not because they were any more competitive, but just because I looked at it, and after I watched most of the first half, I didn't think Penn State had any chance to win. And it wasn't because, they were down 21-6 at the break, but it just seemed to me that Ohio State was so much the better.
Yeah.
That they were just in control of the game from the very beginning. That they went out, they scored 2 touchdowns quickly, they got up 14-3, and it was like, Penn State will hang around. They're not going to get beat by 40, but they're not going to win. They're considerably poorer than Ohio State.
And we kind of saw that in the first week in their loss against Indiana, and Ohio State probably late wants to play it a little bit cleaner. It got sloppy for them. They pulled away and they allowed them to come back, and they would put up a score of their own, but that's something you can coach off of.
Mm-hmm.
And Ohio State has got enough talent to play with anybody in the country. You can turn on the tape and see that. Penn State, you can tell this is a team that the opt-outs hurt. They're missing their key players and in key spots as well. So this was the only really team that I felt like you felt like could challenge Ohio State, before everything happened. Then once that happened, this is Ohio State's conference. Michigan got beat by a bad Michigan State football team.
We started to know a little bit more about Michigan on Friday night when we saw Maryland go up and down the field on Minnesota.
Yep.
And it was like, wait a minute.
Yep.
We may have given Michigan way too much credit for what they did against the Gophers.
You're exactly right. And Maryland ended up winning that game. You're up 17 going into the fourth quarter.
Oh, wait, that is one of your picks here on the thing.
So let's play Michigan on that. Let's play Michigan on that.
Okay.
And Wisconsin was the other team in the Big Ten that you felt like, because their schedule had an opportunity, but they've been hit with COVID issues all over the place. So who knows when they'll get back on the field. So, yeah, it's pretty easy. 2 games in, just like we thought. Buckeyes, it's yours.
Nobody has to be kicking themselves more today than Oklahoma State. They lose to Texas in overtime by a touchdown, turn the ball over 4 times, allowed a kickoff return for a touchdown, and on what ended up being the go-ahead points in the fourth quarter. Now, Oklahoma State did tie the game on the last play to send it to overtime, but on what ended up being the go-ahead points, they allowed 2 fourth-down conversions after they roughed the punter on 4th and 22. Mm-hmm. Right, exactly. Doesn't it just you roughed the punter on 4th and 22? You're going to get the ball back. You have the lead. It's late in the game. You're going to be able to go 4-minute offense, and if you execute that, you're going to be able to put Texas away, and you rough the punter. I mean, Shane Sanders had a great game. Spencer Sanders had a great game when they got back. He throws 4 touchdown passes, but you turn the ball over 4 times, kickoff return, and you rough the punter on 4th and 22. You want to be in that special teams meetings? No. You've been in a bunch of special teams meetings in your life.
Head coach, you're going to be in that one.
I would imagine.
Yep.
And he came. It was just such a dumb play because you don't need it. You're not trying to. You don't need a block punt here. It's not one of those deals where you're at a pivotal point in the game for you need a turnover. He comes right into him. It wasn't, and he hit the. It was a good call. He hit the plant leg. You hit the plant leg. It's automatic, and he's coming straight into him. Oh,
now
gross.
I don't know if they could have run the table because they still had games at Kansas State, at Oklahoma, at
they have an
TCU,
A&M type schedule.
Baylor.
A bunch of games are going to be favored in, but they could lose any of them.
Exactly.
Right.
So, but still, this was an opportunity to get one of the big hurdles on your schedule off of it with a W, and you did so many things to lose this game. And you were the Big 12's only chance. Now the Big 12's not going to be in the playoff. That was it. There's no other team that can come back.
Are you believing in Cincinnati?
Yes.
For the playoffs. You brought up the playoff. Can Cincinnati make the playoff? That's one of the big national topics.
Because of where the Big Ten sits now, okay, you're thinking one team there. Depending on what happens, in Jacksonville this week.
We expect Alabama, Clemson, and Ohio State to be in the playoff. Can Cincinnati be 4?
They need help, but I think they are a team that has the respect of the committee.
An undefeated Cincinnati against a 9-1 A&M. Because Georgia and Florida are both going to have 2 losses.
Yeah.
That A&M becomes the second. I know this just kills you.
It
okay?
does.
But they are, like I said 20 minutes ago, they are the SEC's best opportunity to have a second team in the playoff. Unless somebody were to beat Alabama in the championship game.
Wouldn't 2020 just be the perfect year for a group of 5 team to finally make it into the college football playoff?
If not now, when? You're asking that question? Sure.
And I think that Cincinnati has done a really nice job of not only beating the teams that have kind of given them trouble in the past, but they've really taken care of them and put them away. I mean, Memphis 49-10. SMU 42-13. A ranked Army team 24-10. Now Army's not ranked anymore, but Army and SMU were both ranked at that time. The question's always going to be, do you have enough left on your schedule to make us put you in the college football playoff? They play at UCF. I don't know. At Tulsa, it looks like a better game now, obviously, than when the schedules came out at the beginning of the year. They need help, but I do think this Cincinnati Bearcats football team, because of Fickell being the coach, I think that they are a real deal Holyfield type team, but will it be enough?
Okay, do you think that they could play with any of those teams?
Not with the top 3, but they could play with A&M. without question.
Yeah. If they played Ohio State this week, last year,
Just like if A&M played Ohio State this week.
Last year it was supposed to be, Cincinnati's got a real chance here. I think it was week 2. And this is a real good Cincinnati team. Ohio State might be overlooking a little bit, and I think they won by 40, or it was a blowout.
Yeah, it was.
So I think that would probably happen again. But could Cincinnati play with anybody else? Yeah, probably. I mean, if they were playing Oklahoma State's the best team in the Big 12. If Cincinnati played Oklahoma State this week, give them a chance.
Yeah, Tulsa gave Oklahoma State all they wanted.
Sure, give them a good chance. Take a break here. Hanging with Hester and Hanny, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hanging with Hester and Hanny.
All right, brought to you by Richards Honda every single day, the title sponsor of the show. You can find them online at richardshonda.com, where you can literally do it all. You want to find out how long you have left to save? Well, that's right there in the bottom left corner in their current offers. If you want to chat with sales, right there in the bottom right corner. You can find the warm, fuzzy promise on the website. You can have a buy from home option right there on the homepage of the website. You click on it. It's a 7-step process. You select your vehicle. You compare your vehicles. You fill out just a little bit of information. You get everything the way you want it. And at the end of it, they deliver the vehicle to you, right? It's incredibly easy. Takes all the hassle out for you. But we encourage you all the time, man, go see the dealership at I-12 and Millerville. They have over 700 new and pre-owned vehicles that are priced to move. And no matter what you need, no matter what your lifestyle calls for, they've got you covered. Car, hybrid, midsize, full-size SUV, van, truck, something for everybody over at Richards Honda, home of the warm and fuzzy feeling.
We opened up the playbook and expanded our coverage. Listen daily in high definition on 98.1 HD2. We are 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
They are exactly the same.
They're identical. Actually, they're not. Has2 also has antioxidant vitamin C.
Antioxidant?
Then we'll take Has2.
Given the choice, why wouldn't you choose the one with antioxidant vitamin C? Choose Vizzy Hard Seltzer.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
This was us 20 years ago. Since then, we've grown to over 200 employees. We've helped over 100,000 people purchase, build, renovate, or refinance. Over $17 billion in loans. We make the mortgage process easy and convenient. Apply online or at one of our local branches. If you're looking to buy, build, renovate, or refinance, go to gmfsmortgage.com to see how we can help change your life today.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for Monday's AFR presented by Relief Windows. We'll recap LSU and Auburn from the Plains. We'll hear from Ed Ogeron, and we'll talk Saints-Bears. Join us for Monday's AFR, 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin' with Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger.
We're brought to you by Richard's Honda, home of the warm and fuzzy feeling. See Joey Burrow yesterday? Got another win.
A big win against a really good
It's a really
team.
good against a really good team, and a game that they were in control of for most of the way.
He's like the magic man in the pocket. Did you see the one where he got away? It was a 4-yard run, but he should have been sacked about 7 times.
I would be so excited if I were a Cincinnati fan about the future of him and the franchise. I'd feel like for the first time since before Carson Palmer's injury that it's like, man, we really got a chance here. We got us a good bird dog here.
All of my Charger brethren have asked me, what do you think, man, Herbert or Burrow? I'm like, guys, Herbert's been great, but if you don't see what Burrow's doing for Cincinnati with that offensive line and still keeping them in every game but the one blowout and winning some games as well against teams like Tennessee, and you don't think this is the best rookie quarterback, not only this year but in a good bit, you're crazy. You don't know what you're watching, because he is finding ways to keep his team in every game, and he does it because he's the smartest football player on the field most times as a rookie.
And it's so easy to go into the offseason and say, what do we need to do to take the next step? If they don't draft 17 offensive linemen and sign 12 more, then they're out of their mind, okay? I'm talking about your first-round pick, your second-round pick, and your third-round pick are all offensive linemen, and your top 3 signees are all offensive linemen. I mean, I'm throwing some money. I'm throwing some draft capital. I'm throwing everything I can at that problem because I'm going to keep this guy upright. And the rest of it's they're not terrible defensively. They're not great. I mean, they need some help on that side of the ball too. But
traded Dunlap this week.
Yeah, he and Geno Atkins had got into it with the D-line coach there, so they just kind of
think about what they have right now and what they potentially could have. Right, you get rid of Green's contract. Okay, you've got Joe Mixon. You change up some things on the offensive line. Ross was a first-round pick who's been a bust. Maybe
he's going to be out the door.
Maybe you can get a 7th-round pick or something for him, but that money comes off the books as well. Whatever. Yeah, even if you just cut him, that money comes off the books here pretty soon. So you're going to have some
you take
capital.
a 1-year hit with his money, and then you get that off.
That's what you get for drafting the fastest 40. That never works out for anybody, okay, unless you're Chris Johnson. So there is so many things that could be an improvement, like within a year, and they're already – I think much better, much more competitive than anybody would have thought. Bill Polian, I hope you were watching what Joseph Burrow is doing. And everybody agreed with old Bill when I gave Bill my no class for him saying that Burrow was going to struggle.
You know what Burrow's biggest problem is going to be? That he is in a division with 2 of the best organizations in professional football. We did our organizational rankings last week. Watching Steelers-Ravens yesterday – that was big boy football, man.
Yeah.
I mean, that was big boy football. That was like those Alabama LSU games where they had 900 draft choices on the field. You just watch those 2 outstanding coaches, 2 teams that are just going to be so physical, and you just know the game's going to be a 1-score game pretty much every time that they play. I told you we were looking at point spreads. It's like, wait, hang on, you're going to give me the Steelers in 4 points? I'm taking it. You give me the Ravens in 4 points, I'd have taken that too, either way. And Pittsburgh was just a little bit better yesterday, and they are now the best team in football?
They were for me 3 weeks ago, and somebody told me I was wrong. When you look,
I like the Chefs. Okay, I'm still.
When you look at how that franchise,
but I'm not going to argue with you today.
When you look at how that franchise is run, give me a better run franchise in sports over anytime. I'm not even going to put a year on it. Give me a better run franchise, or let's say 35 years. If you want a number.
The St. Louis Cardinals, maybe. but no, there's not a lot. Okay, they are at the top. I told you we did our organizational
3
rankings.
head coaches, Hanny.
I know. We did our organizational rankings. They're tops for me.
Southern Misses have more coaches this year than they've had.
Than the Steelers have had since the Lyndon Johnson administration. No, they're a impeccably run franchise, and even when they have a little bit of a disconnect off the field, they moved Antonio Brown, and they were right. How many teams would have held on to Antonio Brown and said, "Man, he's too talented to get rid of"? Nope, we're moving you. Le'Veon Bell says, "I'm going to sit out the entire season." Yep. We'll do it because we're not wrecking our cap structure because you had a good year or multiple good years. This is what we think you're worth. How many teams could stick to that? Almost none. You remember when the Cowboys, when Emmitt Smith was holding out, they lost the first 2 games and they're like, pay Emmitt.
Yeah.
They paid Emmitt, and that was the right thing to do that year. But they didn't. They wrecked their salary structure doing it, and after that year is when they started their decline. The Steelers do things the right way. From ownership, and you know how big I am on that. Great front office, fantastic head coach, good players, great players in a lot of cases. They're just they're the best right now. What else did we see yesterday? Your Chargers threw up on themselves with a big lead.
Did they throw up on themselves, or did they just stay on brand? Because I think that's 2 different things.
And you sure badmouth them people a whole lot for as much money as you made.
No, and I root for them.
But you're being honest, right?
No, yeah. The last thing I want to do is come in here and lie to the people.
Okay.
And I'm including myself in this. I was part of those moments.
Right. Seahawks win again yesterday. This was one of my favorite picks. I had this in my 6-pack. What did I tell you? 3 weeks ago, Aaron Rodgers played lousy against the Bucs. I said, what? Aaron Rodgers ain't playing bad 2 weeks in a row. Came back and lit up the Texans. Told you last week, Russell Wilson threw 3 interceptions. Russell Wilson ain't going to play bad 2 weeks in a row. What did he do? Came out there, threw 4 touchdown passes, 128 QB rating. Okay, that's why, because he's one of the best quarterbacks going. He comes back, they're going to be fine. Now, they still give up too many points, but they're the best team in the NFC as far as I'm concerned right now. And the other game that I wanted to just mention something here real quick, I turned off Eagles-Cowboys last night. It was so bad. The Philadelphia Eagles last night, this is all you need to know, became the first team in, I think it was since 1982, to have less than 250 yards of total offense, to give up 4 sacks, and to turn the ball over 4 times, and still win the game by 2 touchdowns.
Yeah. What happened to Carson Wentz?
Is there a chance that he has never really come back from that injury? At the time of that injury, this was the 2017 or 18 season, I forget.
17, right?
17, I think it was, yeah. He was, through 12 weeks, the MVP of the league. And he's not been the same since. Is it because of the injury? I don't know. I can't give you any other reason. They're still a pretty well-coached team. They've still got talent. They were missing Miles Sanders last night, but that's still a reasonably talented team. They're 3-4-1, and that's about where their talent level is, about a 500 team. But he just has not. He's never looked the same as he did, because I thought when he got hurt that year, he was the best player in the league through 12 weeks, and I haven't seen that level since.
That explains physically, but he's making mental errors that are very basic. And
yeah, I can't argue with you, and I don't know why.
And Doug Peterson is catching a lot of the heat, and I feel like Carson Wentz isn't catching as much. And Doug Peterson, when they won that Super Bowl, I think a lot of it was because of his creativity.
Yeah,
I think we can all agree there.
That game against the Giants, that was a Thursday night game. Was it 2 weeks ago? Where he just made some really, really dumb plays, like that interception at the end of the first half that he threw in the end zone. Just like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't quite get it. We'll take our final break. We come back. It's Ask Us, hanging with Hester and Hanny, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hanging with Hester and Hanny.
All right, so it's a little cooler. We got a little cool front coming through here. So right now, you're probably getting pretty close to the time where you're going to have to crank that heater up. So for Tiger Air, the independent dealer of the American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning units, right now is the time to get it checked. Make sure that it's operating at maximum efficiency because it's going to save you money. We've told you about the American Standard and all of the great things that you can do from the programmable thermostat all the way to the efficiency of the unit. It's going to save you money on your energy bills each and every month.
Don't shock your system. Be a part of the Comfort Assurance Protection Plan seasonal maintenance like Hanny's mentioning, right? Spring and fall. Part of that, you're going to get discounts on parts and labor, lower utility bills. You're going to get discounted emergency and priority services, saving you money. Also, increased equipment life. That saves you money as well. It is a no-brainer. Go to tiger-air.com or call 225-754-8687 for more information.
Football's back. Tune in tonight as we wrap up a full weekend of NFL coverage. It's Monday Night Football as the New York Giants host the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The NFL lives on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
T-Bob Hebert here with breaking news. Front-to-Back Boat Services is the shop to upgrade your boat tech this fall. With not one but two NMEA-certified techs, who better to install your Panoptic sonar, your HD displays. You want to see the fish under the water before you even cast? They have that. Trolling motor you could control with your iPhone? They have that. So what are you waiting for? Get into Front-to-Back Boat Services right now. Upgrade your boat tech. Make your boating dreams come true. Front-to-Back Boat Services.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Join us for a Monday edition of Jimmy Ott's Game Time, presented by visitnatchez.org. We're live from the Pig Out Inn in Natchez, Mississippi to recap the weekend and look ahead to Monday Night Football. Tune in at 6 p.m. on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin' with Hester and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and 1130 The Tiger.
Ask Us. What we really ought to do We ought to have a cold Coors Light every day for Ask Us. We got enough.
So, again, the only people that can't enjoy one of the people on that side of the room, people on this side of the room could absolutely do it.
It's against the law, and I think we got one underage, right?
Yeah, so
everybody
over there.
He's not allowed to drink beer anyway. So
And we
got the new Slim cans.
Slim cans.
Yeah.
You can fit more into your cooler. And the Rockies, always cold. Well, I mean, it's always, look, it literally says here, cold lagered, cold filtered, cold package. Just chill with a Coors Light.
Coors Light, the official beer of Hanging with Hester and Hanny. And don't forget about the Blue Moon Light Sky. Thank you very much, Cade. Excellent.
Can we just admit all three were had on Friday?
Oh, we took pictures, right?
We did. We got to get that.
We
so
got to get
Paul
that
can
posted.
put it on the back.
We need to get that to Paul.
Yeah, there was a Vanderbilt Commodore and a character from Yellowstone that enjoyed a couple of cold Coors Lights on Friday.
Very nice. All right, so Coors Light brings you Ask Us. All right, so let's start. Ask Hanny. You forgot to mention how the Eagles covered on a bogus fumble scoop and score NFL officiating strikes again. I'd be lying to you. I'd be lying to you if I told you I watched that long. I turned it off. It was too bad. Ask Us, National Deviled Egg Day, yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Big fan. Ask Us, as a PSA, can you tell all LSU fans to watch today's SEC shorts? I'll be honest with you. I love SEC shorts.
Oh, I do too.
They are so creative. Whoever's writing for those guys is doing a great job. Today's was about defending national champions. Hey, you know the only defending national champion in the modern era to have a losing record the next year?
Don't care.
1967, Michigan State. Okay. Somebody made me look that up this weekend. Ask Us, do you think anything will be changed in 2 weeks or will be like we've seen thus far?
It better change. You've got a juggernaut coming in here, and it just needs to be different. When you turn on the film, you need to see 11 guys on defense, 11 guys on offense, and 11 guys on special teams giving a damn to the highest that they can give.
That's the only thing that can change, because in 2 weeks you can't change personnel. They've already done that, and you can't change schematics. I mean, not much. There's certain things you can do. So if there's going to be a change, it's got to be on the attitude. Ask Us, can we have one hoops segment this week?
Yes, Hunt's coming.
Okay, we'll try and do that. Ask Us, how often do you say bro or bruh during a conversation?
I feel like I'm more of a man. I don't feel like I say bro or bruh. Scone's a big bruh.
Dude.
He's a big bruh.
I'm a dude guy. Dude. Yeah, but not like you're a dude.
Yeah.
You're a dude.
Terry's a bro, I think.
Yeah. Okay. Ask Us, is a bad LSU team good for your business? No, although it does spark more people to
interact.
To interact. I would say that. But for the business, no, I wouldn't say that. This one's for you. This is from Champ. Ask Us, are you aware that since 2015, the Chargers have 38 losses within one score and 14 since the start of last season?
Well aware. I am an expert in knowing that information, because not only do I know that information, my wife knows that information. My 11-year-old son knows that information.
When you lose games by one score, you're more inclined to blame the players or the coach?
Coach.
Yeah, that's what I think too. Ask Us, what's your opinion of Sean Payton's final play call? Kick the field goal on first down with 2 minutes left, or instead of running the ball to get Lutz a bit closer? He's taking grief about that, but I don't know that there's a whole lot of difference to Jake Lutz in a 35-yard field goal and say a 28-yard field goal.
I'm going to criticize it because once they called that final timeout, send your offense back out there if you want to take a couple of knees, because if you miss a field goal, they still had a minute and some change left. They could have gone down there and got their own field goal.
So not the first down, not the distance, but the time.
The time was
okay. Sure. Sure. Ask Us. Ask Hester. Why are you not on the coaching staff? You have any aspirations to coach after you finish?
I did not, because I like my family, and
you never get to see them.
You never get to see them, and I have mad respect for the guys that go out there and do it, and it is a absolute grind. When I retired from the NFL, I got a call from Les, and we talked about it for a little bit, but that's as far as that conversation got.
Ask us, what makes you roll your eyes every time you hear it?
I digress.
I digress.
You don't remember our conversation?
I do. Every time I hear it, grand slam home run is like fingernails on a chalkboard to me. I can't stand it. So I don't know if I roll my eyes or just throw something. Ask us, if the audio is a disaster, how high does your blood pressure get? I got a feeling that one's directed at me. If you have technical problems, especially ones that are beyond your control, aggravate me because I want to be able to do something. And when there's something that I can't fix, yes, my blood pressure goes up.
One of the only times that Happy ever saw me mad, we were doing one of our first on-location remotes on a football Friday. Things weren't working. It sounded like I was in a soup can, and it was one of my first times here to be on like in a really prime time and not 6 to 8 because Fridays were the only time I was at lunchtime, and I was so mad. I'm sure Kate heard me say words that he's probably not heard in a long time.
Why doesn't this work? Ask us, Chinese dumplings or grandma's dumplings? I don't know.
Grandma's.
Yeah, sure.
Chicken and dumplings slaps every time.
Ask us for prayers for the Ole Miss tight end injured in practice, no feeling yet, airlifted to the hospital. We just got this.
Yeah, we just got it. We were trying to find out more information. We saw that Lane Kiffin mentioned it, and that's very, very scary. Prayers out. I mean, that is the worst thing that you can absolutely
non-responsive
hear.
is that's scary to hear. Very scary.
So we don't have all the information, but we're definitely trying to gather it. We talked about it during the last break.
Ask us, do you think Pelini needs to go? Not right now, but he's done an awful job. I'm sorry. I mean, there's no other way to put it, but he's not going to go right now, and there's about a $4.9 million buyout in the offseason, so not exactly a real happy financial situation over there right now. A lot of people lost their jobs last week. Thanks to everybody for participating. For Cade Wazan, for Paul O'Neill, for Jacob Hester, I'm Charles Hanagriff saying thank you and good afternoon. Stay tuned for AFR 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hangin' with Hester and Hanny.
I'm Jay Ducote. I grew up learning how to cook at LSU tailgate parties and right in my own backyard. And I created JD's Louisiana products to bring that Louisiana flavor to you at home for your backyard cookout. JD's Louisiana barbecue sauce, Louisiana molasses mustard, spicy and sweet barbecue rub, and more are available at your local supermarkets or by logging on to jducote.com/shop. Put in promo code CST for 25% off at checkout.
Do you know someone who said